Chapter 1938. Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. We don't know how such an unreliable customer came out of the sauna center. The second boss was very amiable and approachable. He didn't put on any airs at all. He immediately apologized when he heard the complaints. He was really like a businessman, but his apology couldn't give the customers any substantial benefits. So after he finished speaking, no one quieted down. They were still shouting their own ideas and opinions. Some said that it was free of charge, some said that it didn't count and they should start over. There were even more outrageous ones who said that they should compensate him. Anyway, there were all kinds of requests, but the amiable second boss had no intention of explaining at all. He just listened to everyone's various requests very quietly. From time to time, he would smile, as if he was telling all the customers that he understood their feelings. Even the gentle-looking bespectacled man couldn't take it anymore. He tried to stop the customers' increasingly excessive demands. Everyone, please stop. We'll definitely provide you with the service you deserve, but you can't ask for too much, right? I can give you a discount, but if you keep pestering us like this, our boss will. It's okay. Let them continue. I'm curious about what other requests you have. The second boss smiled slightly, as if he didn't care at all. One person had already made an extremely outrageous request. He said that he was scared this time. He definitely needed to go to the hospital to see a doctor, and every time he saw a doctor, he wanted to find a woman to test if he could still do it. So he asked the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center to provide him with a free 1-year experimental period. In other words, during this 1 year, he could come to Heavenly Palace No. 1 to have fun at any time. It was a service that should be provided to him. 1 year. What did that mean? If he came every day for 365 days, that would be ridiculous. Of course not. The gentle-looking man would never let these unreasonable requests continue. But since the second boss had spoken, he couldn't say anything. He could only let these people continue to make unreasonable requests. Look, this is the difference between your boss and you. Some customers had already begun to despise the manager with glasses. Then they smiled and said to the second boss, I think I'm sick too. Just give me 500,000 yuan for my medical expenses. I'll still visit Heavenly Palace No. 1 in the future. The second boss just nodded and smiled without saying a word. When one person asked for money, there would be a second. Everyone followed suit. Finally, after more than 10 minutes of intense speech, everyone had finished stating their conditions. In order to show that he was also a real customer, Su Yun also made an unreasonable request. His request was relatively simple. He said that he had just arrived in Shenzhen and did not want to cause trouble for himself. As long as Heavenly Palace No. 1 gave him a 30% discount card, he would not care about this matter. After everyone had made their requests, the second boss began to speak with a smile. Dear friends, we're all brothers from all over the world. It's fate that brought us together. If it weren't for today's incident, we wouldn't have had such an opportunity to meet each other. Don't you think so? Yes, yes, yes. It's our honor to know the boss. Everyone expressed that it was very good because the boss didn't have any airs at all. He was very approachable. Since we are so fated to be friends, can you give me some face as a friend? The smile on the second boss's face was still hanging high. Let's pretend that nothing happened today. Take back those requests you made. This way, we'll all be good friends. What do you think? Everyone instantly fell silent. What was this person trying to do? He had been smiling all the time and seemed to have agreed to their conditions. But now, he suddenly changed his mind and asked them to take back their conditions. If you're willing to be good friends with me, you can give me face and take back your conditions. I'll also give you face. We're all friends. Don't you think so? The second boss continued. Someone didn't want to continue listening. If that's the case, there's no point in us being friends, right? Forget it, you can still compensate me however you want. I won't be friends with you today. The person who took the lead spoke. He really felt that he had nothing to fear. Sigh, if you say that, I'm also very sorry to lose a good friend. After the second boss finished speaking, he suddenly waved his hand. The bodyguard who drove him here had been silent all this time. After seeing this gesture, he suddenly made his move. This move was really shocking. The expressionless bodyguard grabbed the guy who didn't want to be friends with the back of his hand. His right hand pinched the guy's left arm and snapped it in the opposite direction. A hair-raising bone-cracking sound was heard, and the customer's left arm was twisted in an unimaginable way. Everyone in the room had goosebumps when they heard the blood-curdling screams. Even the faces of the staff and technicians present turned pale. Immediately after, the bodyguard was about to do the same to the customer's right arm. After this person realized his current situation, he screamed and begged for mercy. "Boss. I'll hand it over. I'll be friends with you. I beg you. Let me go. I don't have any more conditions." However, the second boss didn't seem to hear him. He didn't say a word. When the bodyguard saw this, he didn't hesitate for even a second and unceremoniously broke the man's right arm again. Under the intense pain, the man groaned miserably and then fainted from the pain. Seeing this miserable situation, everyone couldn't help but swallow their saliva. A quick-witted fatty stood up immediately. "Boss is really a straightforward person. I'll definitely be friends with you. I'll pretend that nothing happened today. Ha ha ha, we'll all be friends in the future. If there's anything, just say the word. We'll drink together another day. Let's eat together. That's a good friend. You've given me enough face." The second boss smiled slightly and expressed his praise to the fatty. This guy was really a smiling tiger. His smile wasn't fake at all. It was as if the evil act just now wasn't ordered by him. Su Yun couldn't help but admire him. Ju Kai Group was really full of talents. No wonder such a criminal gang could last so long. This was related to the ability of the core leader. If Ju Kai Group was full of such people, it would be really difficult to deal with. Because you couldn't see what these people were thinking in their minds. These things really made people feel incomparable fear. "Boss, if there's nothing else, I'll go pay the bill and leave first." The fatty had already begun to prepare to leave. Paying some money and leaving was definitely the best choice now. Seeing that the quick-witted fatty got a good result, everyone was ready to follow suit and express their willingness to be friends. Laughing and silently getting rid of a group of troublesome people with just one move to make an example out of them. "Awesome. Don't. We're all good friends. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Sit down and chat for a while." "It's fine." The second boss said, "We're all good friends, aren't we?" Without needing the fatty to say anything, everyone followed suit. Just as the second boss was dealing with these customers, the chicken mommy also escaped downstairs. Knowing that the second boss was here, she almost crawled to the second boss side. "Second boss, Along is in room 8 on the 3rd floor and that person." "Why are you so noisy? Can't you see that I'm chatting with so many friends?" The second boss frowned and looked up at the chicken mommy. The woman trembled at that moment and didn't dare to speak again. "Take your girls and leave. There's nothing for you to do here." The second boss was a little impatient as he ordered. There was no sound in the entire room. The chicken mommy hurriedly asked all the technicians to leave with her. "Room 8 on the 3rd floor. It seems like there's going to be a good show here." The second boss smiled and looked at the gentleman with glasses. "Since there's going to be a good show and so many of my good friends are here, shouldn't I share it with everyone?" The gentleman with glasses immediately understood the second boss's meaning. He nodded heavily and said, "Yes." After saying that, the gentleman with glasses quickly turned on the huge television hanging on the wall. After asking his subordinates to get the remote control, he adjusted it and the scene of room 8 on the 3rd floor directly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. "There's a surveillance camera in the room." This was the first thought that popped into Su Yun's mind. What the F***CK, this damn sauna center is really poisonous. If that's the case, there should be surveillance cameras in every room. Moreover, it was hidden very well because even Su Yun didn't notice it. The surveillance camera was in high definition. Both Wen Xiao and Zhao Honglong in the room could see clearly. Even the beads of sweat on their faces could be seen clearly. Chapter 1939. Soon, everyone present realized the second boss's intention. If there was a camera in this room, then the other rooms would also have hidden pinhole cameras. In other words, everything they did in the sauna room with the technician was exposed to the hidden camera. Damn it! This is simply too insidious. This is simply too despicable. The group of people who had just regained some color on their faces were once again pale, especially the fatty. The difference in mentality was too great. Just now, he had almost made a good friend and let him leave. Now, he had become the main character of the movie. Everyone present had been secretly photographed and recorded. This had already become a fact. Su Yun heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He really didn't do anything and just let the girl dance. Even if this kind of video was posted on the internet, it didn't matter. There were no leaks. No one wanted to click on it. My good friends. The second boss said, I don't know what you all did in your respective rooms. I'm very curious. No one dared to speak. They had completely fallen into a deep pit. Their weakness was in the hands of others. This feeling was really very bad. This feeling was really annoying. If they were given a choice, they would definitely not do this kind of thing. It was too insecure. Ha ha ha, I'm just joking with my good friends. The second boss laughed again. Everyone knows what to do here. Even if I don't watch it, I can still know what shameful things you all did in the room. Since everyone is good friends, it's not very good for you to do this, right? This is our privacy. The fat guest couldn't bear it anymore. He didn't want the news to spread. Then, his wife, children, and family would be completely finished. It was a pity that he didn't think about this terrible problem before he came here. Now that he realized it, it was all too late. It was already irreversible. Second boss said seriously, yes, we are good friends. Of course, I wouldn't record your privacy. I really didn't do it. If you want to find trouble, find him. He is the manager here. He did it. It has nothing to do with me. I definitely didn't destroy the relationship between our good friends. At this time, everyone understood that they were now completely under his control. There was nothing else to say. Continuing to play the game of being good friends with him could no longer arouse their spirits. What they needed now was a safe promise, a stable promise. It would be best if the video was deleted in front of them. Tell me, what's wrong with you? Why are you messing with my good friend's video? The second boss glared at the refined, bespectacled man and roared. The bespectacled man looked aggrieved. He didn't know what to do, but this was really his second boss idea. He could only take the blame. Sigh, but what's done is done. There's nothing I can do. The second boss said, in that case, I can only hope that my good friends and I have a mutual promise. What promise? Everyone immediately perked up. Now, as long as the video was given to them, even if they had to climb a mountain of swords or swim in a sea of fire, it wouldn't be a problem. The second boss smiled slightly. Promise me that no one will tell anyone about the secret passage of my place. Once I find out that there are people other than you who know about the secret passage of Heavenly Palace No. 1, none of your videos will be left. All of them will be spread on the internet, and will be spread to the most famous video websites. Let the whole country see your faces, photos, and screenshots. I can make you popular on any big tieba. What he said was true. It was too easy for rich people to find internet water army. If second boss wanted them to be popular, it was just a matter of a sentence. Then what will it take for you to give us the video? The fat man was anxious. He was really scared. Of course I can't give it to you. If I give it to you, what conditions do I have to be good friends with you? The second boss said, I will help my good friends to keep it forever. As long as you don't talk nonsense when you go out, this thing will never see the light of day. As long as one of you talks nonsense, you will all be unlucky. Everyone obviously couldn't accept this result. They could guarantee that they wouldn't talk nonsense, but who could guarantee that others wouldn't? This wouldn't do. Also, as long as this matter spreads out, you know very well that I will definitely find the person who leaked this matter. The second boss suddenly stopped smiling. His gloomy face gave people a very scary feeling. I swear, I will make him suffer 10,000 times more than this person with broken arms. Because I hate people who betray their friends the most. I will personally break all the bones in his body, one by one. All of them. I mean what I say. This kind of threat almost made people breathless. It was too scary, really too scary. Phew. My dear friends, don't think that I am a bad person. In fact, I am not bad at all. I am a very easy person to get along with. As long as you treat me well, I will treat each of you well. Really, I am such a person. I beg you, you must destroy my video. I can give you money, however much you want. The fat man was almost begging. We are friends. Don't mention money. The second boss didn't even look at him. The refined glasses man said fiercely, "Do you think our boss is short of money?" Humph. We swear that we will never tell anyone. Everyone said almost at the same time. This is what I wanted to hear the most. You are really my good friends. The second boss smile was very happy. I love you all so much. Really, really love you all so much. No one was paying attention to the television except for Su Yun. Of course, this couldn't escape the eyes of the second boss. He smiled at the customer who had asked for a 30% discount card and said with a smile, "Is this television program that good?" Su Yun was startled. He realized that his actions had attracted this person's attention. It was all his fault for not being careful. This room is the room I was in. Su Yun was famous for being calm. After experiencing so many things, he naturally became calm quickly. I think again. If I hadn't been brought out just now, I'm afraid that now. Phew, I don't even dare to think about it. This troublemaker is too powerful. Maybe he has already taken me as a hostage. Hearing Su Yun's explanation, the second boss relaxed his vigilance against Su Yun again. He also glanced at the television. At this moment, the two people in the surveillance camera were panting to the limit, especially Ah Long. He clearly saw that Ah Long had no strength to clench his fists. The protagonist tonight didn't have much advantage either. He was also almost exhausted. However, this guy was really powerful. He could force Ah Long to such a state. Talent, he was definitely a talent. Why was Ju Kai Group called Ju Kai Group? It was because they liked talents. The second boss really couldn't bear to let such a person go. Ah Ku, go and help Zhao Honglong. I think he has really done his best. Keep him alive. I want to see this person in person. The second boss said lightly. Although Ah Ku's strength is not much different from Zhao Honglong's, the two of them are more than enough to deal with an exhausted person. The second boss's bodyguard immediately said yes and then quickly left upstairs. He understood what the second boss meant. He wanted to see this person in person, which meant that he was interested in this person. Everyone knew that the second boss liked people. As soon as Ah Ku left, the second boss motioned for the bespectacled man to turn off the television. My good friends, I won't let you see the next scene. I don't want you to have nightmares every night in the future. The second boss smiled. I like to consider the feelings of my friends the most. My friends, you must remember my feelings when you do things in the future. Hey. Of course, of course. The fat man was an absolute supporter. I swear, all of us swear, we will never do anything that you don't want us to do. The second boss hated this fat man for wasting time. Generally, fat men like to waste time. You don't have to beg me. The video can't be destroyed. But whether the storage is safe or not, that's really up to you. Well, friends, today's gathering will end here. If you want to continue playing, wait for a while. Wait until the matter upstairs is settled. If you don't want to play, you can pay the bill at the front desk. After that, the second boss stood up and left. I won't see you out. It seemed that he didn't suspect Su Yun at all. He didn't ask Su Yun any more questions. Su Yun could also tell from the man's tone that he would definitely keep Wen Xiao alive. He admired people with such strength. Chapter 1940. The group of people, who were originally clamoring for a free bill and medical fees, rushed to pay the bill. The bespectacled man looked at the figure of the second boss and secretly admired him. If this kind of thing happened again in the future, he knew how to deal with it. The best way was to kill one as an example to others. The second boss didn't want to waste time on these customers. Shenzhen had a population of tens of millions. There were only a few dozen customers. What was the big deal? It really wasn't a big deal. There was an endless stream of customers who came to play in Tiangong No. 1 every day. Although they knew that they had been photographed, they definitely wouldn't come again. So what? Tiangong No. 1 still made a lot of money every year. Moreover, the Jutsai group really didn't care about this small amount of money. Actually, there was another point. The second boss wasn't afraid that they would leak the secret passage. So what if these people knew about the secret passage? They didn't know about the mechanism at all. At that time, their eyes were probably staring at the girl's body, right? Moreover, every technician had received professional training. They absolutely couldn't open the mechanism under the gaze of the customers. Su Yun was an exception. This was because the girl who served him didn't even treat Su Yun as a customer. Su Yun wasn't like those people who couldn't take their eyes off the smooth body. Therefore, even if these people leaked the secret passage, the police wouldn't be able to find out how to open the secret passage. Without the help of the mechanism, the TV cabinet couldn't be moved at all. The second boss was a meticulous person. Therefore, he absolutely wouldn't allow any mistakes to happen. Even if everything was under his control, he still wanted to gather all the girls who had opened the mechanism today. Dozens of girls stood in front of the second boss. They all thought that the second boss wanted to sleep with someone on a whim. Mother Chicken also looked at the second boss expectantly. When she saw the second boss's gaze sweep across every girl, she became more and more excited. Second boss, the girls under me are all little experts. They are proficient in everything. They will definitely satisfy you, Mother Chicken said with a smile. The chicken mommy said with a flattering smile, "How about this? I'll find 2 good girls for you to prepare." "That won't be necessary." The second boss faintly said. These rouge powders really couldn't enter his eyes. He liked young ones now. These things couldn't arouse his interest at all. "I called you here to ask you a question. You must answer me truthfully. If anyone doesn't answer me truthfully, then don't blame me for not caring about friendship." Hearing the second boss's words, Mother Hen immediately made a military order. "Second boss, don't worry. They won't dare to lie to you. That would be for the best." The second boss smiled. "Let me ask you, when you were activating the lights today, did any of you let the customers see it?" As soon as the second boss asked this question, Ting Ting, who was serving Su Yun, was stunned. She remembered very clearly that she was very anxious at that time, so she didn't avoid Su Yun at all. She directly turned on the switch of the wall lamp in front of Su Yun, and Su Yun showed a surprised expression at that time. Many of the girls said that they were very careful and followed the instructions carefully. They definitely didn't let the customers see them activate the switch. The customers discovered the secret passage without knowing it. The second boss looked at each of the girls with a smile. "You know very well that this is very important to us. Our absolute safety here is also for your own good. How safe Tiangong No. 1 is how safe you are. Therefore, we must absolutely eliminate the existence of danger." That's right. Our ladies are very careful," Mommy Hen quickly said. "If any of you didn't notice it, tell me now. I know which customer saw it clearly and can do some remedial measures." The second boss said, "So, don't hide it from me." The girl, Ting Ting, knew what the second boss meant. The remedial measures were to get rid of the customer who knew about the switch. Phew! She felt all the hair on her body stand up. It was too scary. If she told the second boss about this, it would be the same as putting the little handsome guy's life in danger. "Tell me," the second boss said, "is there anyone who was careless?" Don't worry, I won't blame you. Everyone makes mistakes. It's good as long as you know your mistakes and can make up for them in time. No girl spoke. It seemed that everyone was very careful. The second boss clapped his hands in satisfaction. Good, very good. You all did very well. I like people like you who are careful. Just as Ting Ting heaved a sigh of relief, the second boss spoke again. Even so, for safety reasons, I still have to arrange for people to check the surveillance cameras carefully. If I find that someone didn't report truthfully, or someone who activated the switch was seen by the customers, I believe you all know what the consequences will be. Ting Ting's heart, which had just calmed down, was once again in suspense. I'll give you 1 more minute to think about it, the second boss said unhurriedly. Aku had been on the 3rd floor for a few minutes, but there were still sounds of fighting upstairs. It seemed that the troublemaker was indeed a great talent. He wasn't in a hurry. The battle upstairs would be resolved sooner or later. This minute felt like a year to Ting Ting. After struggling for a while, she finally raised her right hand out of fear. A cold light flashed across the second boss's eyes. Speak. Second boss. I was too nervous at that time, so I really wasn't sure if I saw it or not. Ting Ting said carefully. I didn't deliberately avoid it. She was so nervous that she couldn't speak properly. Mother Hen was furious. She went forward and slapped her. Why didn't you say it when I asked you to? The girl cried immediately. I was scared. I was really scared. Please forgive me. The second boss smiled. It's okay. It's not too late to say it now. Which room are you in? Room 8 on the 3rd floor. It's where the troublemaker is now. Her guest is the one who asked for the discount card from you just now, another girl hurriedly said in order to show off. Very good. You're very observant, the second boss praised her. Then, he said to Mother Hen, what are you waiting for? Go and remind your manager. He will know how to deal with this matter. Yes. At this time, Ting Ting was in deep self-reproach. She betrayed Su Yun for herself. It was a very bad feeling. In fact, she was very professional. She knew that she couldn't have any feelings for the guest. However, at this moment, she still felt worried for the guest. You discovered your mistake in time. I won't punish you. The second boss could see that the girl was nervous. But you can't make the same mistake twice. Do you understand? Tiangong number 1 doesn't raise people with no brains and no memory. Yes. I will remember your words, second boss. The girl was so nervous that her heart was in her throat. She was really afraid that the second boss would get angry and throw her into the river to feed the fish. She had heard that similar things had happened in Tiangong number 1 in the past. There was a girl who didn't listen to the second boss. The second boss got angry and asked all the thugs in the place to rape the girl until she became delirious. Then, they threw her into the river to feed the fish. At this time, the fighting upstairs finally stopped. The second boss's face showed a gratified smile. After Mother Hen informed the manager, she immediately rushed back. When she saw the second boss get up, she quickly stood behind him and listened to his orders. Something happened today. It means that everything is not good. Let the girls rest, the second boss said lightly. I'll go upstairs and see what's going on. Second boss, why don't you arrange for someone to go upstairs and see what's going on first? Mother Hen said worriedly. Her flattery had hit the nail on the head. The second boss didn't even look at her. I don't need you to worry about me. The second boss left expressionlessly. Just do what I told you to do. Chapter 1941. At this moment, on the 3rd floor, when Xiao was really exhausted, Zhao Honglong was completely lying on the ground, unable to get up. All he could do was gasp for breath. He had never met such a strong opponent. Even when he and Aku had surrounded him, they still could not defeat him completely. Aku was also adjusting his breathing. He had already realized that his opponent had basically given up on fighting back. Since the second boss wanted him alive, he would no longer be aggressive. As long as his opponent did not do anything excessive, he would just continue to wear him down. Wan Xiao leaned his back against the wall, guarding against the reinforcements in front of him. He felt that his throat was about to burst into flames. The sweat all over his body had completely soaked his clothes. He knew that he was going to be dehydrated. If this continued, he would not be able to hold on. The three of them fought indoors to the corridor, then indoors to the corridor again. When Xiao no longer had the strength to fight, he was also waiting for the real mastermind to appear. Clap, clap, clap. A few rounds of applause sounded. The second boss appeared in the corridor on the third floor while clapping his hands. Friend, you are really a master among masters to be able to force our two great generals to such a state. Wan Zhao's intuition told him that the person he had been waiting for had finally appeared. As long as the real core member of the Jutsai group could appear, all his hard work and effort tonight would not be in vain. Ha 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 ha. You guys are really something. If one is not enough, then two. If two are not enough, then three. Okay, come on. Come on. I am afraid of everything, but I am not afraid of death. Wan Xiao sneered. If you can't kill me today, then none of you can leave this place alive. Shameless boasting. Ku said angrily. If the second boss had not arrived, he would definitely have attacked again and taught this guy who had no combat power a lesson. The second boss did not show any disgust. Friend, you are already in such a state, yet you still dare to say such things. I really admire you. But sometimes, a person has to adapt to the situation and use his brain. Otherwise, he will not be able to achieve anything. Wan Zhao's gaze never left the second boss. He was trying his best to analyze the identity of this person. From his words and actions, he was trying to determine whether he was a core member of the Jutsai group. Wearing sunglasses indoors at night, my friend, you have good taste, the second boss said again. Judging from his words, actions, and aura, Wan Xiao was sure that he was definitely a person who had been through a lot. Therefore, he dared to bet that this guy was definitely one of the core members of the Jutsai group. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such an aura and performance. The second boss muttered in his heart again. People who wear sunglasses on their faces are either celebrities who don't want people to pay attention to their private lives or criminals who can't be seen. And the person in front of him obviously couldn't be a celebrity. If a celebrity had such skills, then Master Long and Master Jie wouldn't be able to survive, and that Zidan wouldn't be able to act in an action movie. Therefore, the second boss concluded that he was a criminal at first glance. His intuition also told him that this person must have been involved in a murder case. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such a strong murderous aura. Second boss had come into contact with many people like this, so he was very familiar with that kind of murderous aura. This person must be someone who carried the lives of many people on his back. Wan Xiao had been in the Southeast Asian mercenary circle for many years, so it was normal for him to have a lot of lives on his hands. It was impossible for people who came out of that kind of place to not have a murderous aura. This kind of murderous aura couldn't be hidden even if one wanted to. If you want to do it, then do it. Don't dawdle like a woman. Although Wan Xiao had exhausted his strength, his mouth was still unforgiving. In order to gain the other party's trust, he was already prepared to endure physical pain. Second boss, don't talk nonsense with him. Let me kill him. Aku couldn't stand Wan Zhao's arrogance anymore. Second boss. Wan Xiao repeated this name in his heart. It seemed that his guess was right. A person who could make such a master ask for instructions was definitely not a simple person. He must be a core member of the Jutsai group. Since he was the second boss, it was more likely that he was the second in command of the Jutsai group. This was definitely good news for Wan Xiao. However, Wan Xiao had to keep his composure. He had to hold back his excitement and prepare himself for all the trials that awaited him. Second boss waved his hand to signal Aku not to be impulsive. He walked forward slowly. Now that he was closer to Wan Xiao, he could see him more clearly. However, his eyes couldn't be seen under the sunglasses, so he couldn't tell what the other party was thinking. Friend, my name is Yi Wanguang. My biggest characteristic is that I like to make friends. Second boss looked at Wen Xiao and said seriously. Aku was very surprised that the second boss had actually told him his real name. That's right. The name list flashed through Wen Xiao's mind quickly. Wen Guang. He was ranked second on the list. Wen Guang. That's right. It's him. The second in command of the Jutsai group. Finally, Wen Xiao felt as if a huge stone had been lifted from his heart. Friend, don't you want to introduce yourself? Wen Guang smiled slightly. Can we be considered friends from an exchange of blows? I'm afraid there's no reason for us to get to know each other, right? Although Wen Xiao was excited, he still showed a kind of indifference. Wen Guang seemed to be particularly fond of smiling. In the face of Wen Xiao's indifference, he didn't feel disgusted at all. Instead, he became more interested. Friend, the current situation seems like you have no right to negotiate with me, right? But it doesn't matter. I'll give you a chance to negotiate with me. Second boss, this guy is very dangerous. Zhao Honglong panted and said, Don't waste time with him. Quick. Let Aku deal with him. He can't hold on anymore. Long, you just lie here and rest, Wen Guang said lightly. You know me. We're all brothers. There's no misunderstanding that can't be solved. Second boss, he is too dangerous. Wen Guang still insisted. Every one of you is dangerous, isn't it? Wen Xiao could see that this guy wanted to get in touch with him, but he had to figure out his own identity. He was a national S-level wanted criminal. He wouldn't easily let anyone know his identity. I'm not interested in making friends, Wen Xiao emphasized again. But do you think you have any other choice other than this one? Wen Guang said very directly. If you don't want to be friends with me, then let my people deal with you. If you become friends with me, then we'll be on the same side. My people won't dare to be disrespectful to you. Wen Xiao was stunned, but he still pretended to be vigilant. Wen Guang said, I can see that you have to be careful and cautious. I can also guess that there must be something on you. How did you know? Wen Xiao became nervous. His reaction was very big, and his behavior was very exaggerated. After Wen Guang saw it, he was sure of his judgment. This guy must have a case on him. Suddenly, Wen Guang's eyes lit up. He seemed to have thought of the information that his big brother, Wen Yang, had showed them this morning. It was said that a national S-level wanted criminal had entered Shenzhen and had been confirmed. Now, all the police force was focused on this matter. Therefore, if they had any goods coming in and out in the next few days, they had to seize the time to measure them. It was absolutely safe during this period. For some reason, Wen Guang associated the person in front of him with the S-class wanted criminal. Although he had seen the S-level wanted criminal's photo, his hairstyle was completely different. But the S-level wanted criminal called Wen Xiao had a particularly obvious characteristic. He was blind in one eye. That's right, it was a single eye. This person was wearing sunglasses indoors in the middle of the night. Just based on this point, Wen Guang would be suspicious of him. Friend, can I ask you a question? Wen Guang smiled slightly. Why are you wearing sunglasses? Is there a problem with your eyes? Wen Xiao immediately showed an unprecedented nervousness. Wen Guang also obtained more information from the other party's reaction. This person was the S-level wanted criminal. There was no doubt about it. Chapter 1942. If the person in front of him was Wen Xiao, ordinary people would only feel fear and trepidation. However, it was the complete opposite for Wen Guang. He liked this kind of talent because once this kind of person was used by him, it would bring unimaginable intangible wealth to the Jukai group. Wen Guang narrowed his eyes and stared closely at Wen Xiao's every move. Friend, perhaps I already know who you are. Although the picture on your wanted poster is an earlier picture given by the authorities, and you look very different from the picture in the internal police files, I still recognize you, Wen Xiao. The atmosphere became very tense in an instant. Wen Xiao had quietly clenched his fists. His whole body was tense, trying to find an opportunity to fight like a cornered beast. Don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions towards you. Yi Wenguang said, I guess your disguise is very good. However, the fact that you only have one eye can't be solved by a disguise. That's why you've been wearing glasses and not taking them off, right? The technician who served him said that it was because he accidentally dropped his glasses during the activity. That's why he became angry out of embarrassment. The thugs who had been knocked down before gradually regained some clarity. When they heard the second boss speak, they immediately conveyed some of the information that the technician had told the chicken mommy to the second boss. The second boss smiled slightly. It seems that I don't need to speculate anymore. I just need to see the video that was taken by the invisible surveillance camera when you had sex with our technician. That will prove all of this. F***CK. There was an invisible surveillance camera in the room. Wen Xiao really had to hand it to these people. Then, wouldn't all of his perverted behavior be recorded inside? He really wasn't a pervert. He just wanted to make the young lady unable to stand him faster. That's why he deliberately did some things. Forget it. If the people in the Jukai group knew that he was a pervert, they would probably believe that he was a real wanted criminal, a real villain, a bad guy. Then, they would probably appreciate him even more. Even if you know what kind of person I am, so what? Wen Xiao wasn't afraid to shed all pretense of cordiality. Today there are only two paths to choose from. Either the fish dies or the net breaks. You haven't asked me to admit defeat yet, so don't use the tone of a victor to talk to me. No one knows what will happen later. No. Mr. Wan, please believe that I mean no harm. I can swear. As Yi Wenguang spoke, he actually raised 3 fingers and pointed to the sky. I swear to God that if I have any ill intentions towards Mr. Wen, I will die a horrible death. Haha. Actually, we do have a third option. Wen Xiao sneered. Clearly, he had no interest in Yi Wenguang's oath. I am from Huaxia. I only believe in the gods of Huaxia. Since ancient times, from emperors, generals, ministers, scholars, and beauties to the lowly officials and commoners, everyone has been proud of having such a pair of exquisite and translucent walnuts that are as bright as mirrors. So what? Wen Xiao wasn't interested in the walnuts. Those who were interested would treat them as treasures. He wasn't interested, so they were worthless. Yi Wenguang smiled slightly and continued to explain to Wen Xiao, during the Ming and Qing dynasties, walnuts reached their peak. The emperor of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yuxiao, not only played with the walnuts, but he also personally carved them. Hence, there was an unofficial history of Zhu Yuxiao carving the walnuts and forgetting the national affairs. The Qianlong emperor of the Qing dynasty was not only a famous walnut connoisseur, but he also wrote a poem, The sun and the moon spin on my palm, time wants to turn back. My blood surges, when will my hair turn white? Are you showing off your knowledge of history and culture to me? I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in these things. Wen Xiao said, this pair of walnuts is worthless to me. Aku couldn't help but say, our second boss spent 650,000 to buy this pair of walnuts. The Qianlong emperor played with them in the past. Oh, it looks like he's really old. Wen Xiao could also see from this guy's face that he wasn't bragging. He was telling the truth. Spend 650,000 to buy a pair of walnuts and play with them in his hand? Can he live 100 years? Mr. Wan, to show my sincerity, you can do whatever you want with them. You can do whatever you want with this pair of walnuts. Even if you crush them on the spot today, I won't complain. Yi Wenguang said, I just want to express that I want to be friends with you. I don't even care about this pair of treasures of mine. Why would I care about the police's reward? Wen Xiao frowned and said, are you serious? This pair of walnuts. I can do whatever I want with them. Yi Wenguang didn't hesitate at all. Yes, you can do whatever you want with them. I don't even know what being polite is. Wen Xiao didn't even think about it. He exerted force with one hand, and the pair of top-grade walnuts were directly crushed into powder in his hand. Wan Guang, who was watching all this, still didn't change his expression. He really liked this pair of walnuts, and they also had an extraordinary meaning. An emperor had used them before. The emperor wasn't anxious, but the eunuch was. Ku and Zhao Honglong were so anxious that they couldn't sit still. This was too much. This was a treasure. I'm a little regretful. Wen Xiao suddenly stopped. Since it's real, it's still an antique cultural relic. It's really a waste for me to destroy it just like that. As long as you like it, so what? Wan Guang's words were really too embarrassing. Wen Xiao slightly relaxed his vigilance. The other party was already so generous. It would be too fake if he continued to keep a straight face. At this time, it seemed like it was time to stand up and say something, right? Mr. Wen, now you believe in my sincerity, Wan Guang said. Wen Xiao was silent for a moment, then said, Yes, I do trust you. But I still don't understand why you want to be friends with me. We've only met for the first time. Moreover, I've done such things to your subordinates and your territory. After saying that, Wen Xiao took off his glasses, revealing his one-eyed feature, officially proving that he was a genuine S-rank wanted criminal. Wen Xiao. Chapter 1943. After seeing this one-eyed man, Wan Guang's heart was inexplicably relieved. No wonder their two masters couldn't take him down. Wen Xiao was indeed Wen Xiao. He could get the secrets in the Huaxia military base and escape from the capital, Yanjing. This was definitely not something an ordinary person could do. Take the current situation for example. Although Wen Xiao had exhausted all his energy in the battle with Zhao Honglong and Ku, Wan Guang still dared to say that even if these two people went to the place where Wen Xiao escaped to get the secrets, they wouldn't be able to escape from Yanjing if they cooperated with each other. Wan Guang chose Wen Xiao because of his super high personal ability and adaptability. Without a terrifying adaptability, it was absolutely impossible to escape from Yanjing. Wan Guang was too clear about what kind of talents their Jutsai group needed the most. What they needed the most was people with super adaptability and great personal ability. Although this kind of person was dangerous and difficult to control, once they could really be used, it would be a huge fortune for the Jutsai group. Compared to Zhao Honglong and Ku, people like Wen Xiao wouldn't be simply used as a bodyguard. Wan Guang stretched out his right hand. I'm very happy that we really know each other now. Mr. Wen, I admire you very much. I really admire you very much. And I can tell you very clearly that if we are friends, I can help you know any action the police wants to take against you. Wen Xiao frowned. No wonder the police couldn't collect any evidence of the Jutsai group's crimes. This guy must have a lot of spies in the police. If it weren't for so many people in the police protecting them, he might not have to come here undercover. The police already know that you have entered Shenzhen. Wan Guang smiled slightly. I believe that you might think that the police won't confirm it so quickly, but it's true that your whereabouts have been leaked. But I still admire you very much. You can still let go of the pressure and relax in this situation. This is really bold. Wen Xiao sneered. If he wasn't a spy, his whereabouts wouldn't have been discovered in such a short time. Now that Wan Guang had thrown out an olive branch, as long as Wen Xiao reached out, he could successfully contact the core figures inside the Jutsai group. I think I still need time to decide if I should trust you or not. Wen Xiao did not intend to let things go so smoothly. The smoother things were, the more suspicious they would be. This saying was absolutely true. Therefore, he couldn't let Wan Guang become familiar with him so easily. Wan Guang was stunned for a moment, but he quickly understood what Wen Xiao meant. Yes, it did take time. After all, they didn't know each other, and it was only their first meeting. After understanding what Wen Xiao meant, Wan Guang generously made way for Wen Xiao. Then he took out his business card and handed it to him. Mr. Wen, I welcome you to contact me at any time. As long as you want to meet me, I'm available at any time. Second boss. Second boss. Zhao Honglong was so angry that he wanted to smash a hole in the floor. They had only met once, and yet they valued him so much. He had already been thrown into this damned bathing center for half a year and had not been put in an important position. Although Aku wanted to remind the second boss whether this was a lack of consideration, he didn't speak in the end because he knew his own identity and the second boss' identity. The problem that he could think of, the boss must have thought of it too. The reason why he still did this was that the boss thought more and thought it was worth it. You're a straightforward person. Wan Xiao finally showed a trace of friendliness to Yi Wan Guang, but he didn't take the business card because he knew that it was impossible for him to enter the Jutsai group by taking the initiative to contact them. After all, the Jutsai group did not belong to Yi Wan Guang alone. Their big boss, Yi Wan Yang, was the real leader of the Jutsai group. The second boss, Yi Wan Guang, and the third boss, Yi Wan Qing, were all assisting the eldest boss, Yi Wan Yang. Although the core of the Jutsai group was not one person, it was composed of many people. But if one wanted to do well in the Jutsai group, it was not enough to just gain Yi Wan Guang's trust. One must gain Yi Wan Yang's trust. Only then could one be considered a person who could really access the secrets of the Jutsai group. Having contact with Yi Wan Guang only allowed Wen Xiao to get close to the Jutsai group. Yi Wan Guang just watched Wen Xiao leave. He knew that if he wanted to gain the complete loyalty of such a person, he really had to give this person enough trust. It seemed that it was really necessary to talk to the boss about this matter and see what the boss thought about this matter. Wen Xiao didn't look back when he left. He couldn't show that he wanted to join the Jutsai group, not even a little bit. This was called loosening the reins only to grasp them better. When you showed that you wanted to stay away, the other side would probably think that you were a delicious cake. On the contrary, the more you wanted to stick to them, the more they wouldn't take you seriously. Second boss, can you help me put in a good word and ask the big boss when I can go back to work? I really don't want to stay here anymore. Zhao Honglong was still tired, but after a period of relief, he could stand up and talk properly. Yi Wan Guang glanced at Zhao Honglong. Long, I really don't dare to mention this to the big boss. You should find someone else. Don't. Second boss. I beg you, okay? Zhao Honglong almost knelt down in front of Yi Wan Guang. I really know that I was wrong. Please help me pass a message to the big boss. I can't see him, and I can't say it to him personally. Long, I think the big boss treats you well. He knows that you like women, so he arranged for you to work here. Isn't it good? Yi Wan Guang said, you can do whoever you want here. There are so many beds. You can sleep anywhere. You don't need to open up your territory on the hard desk in the office. Why not? Zhao Honglong really wanted to cry but had no tears. If he was given another chance, he would never do such a stupid thing. I know that I was wrong, second boss. I really know that I was wrong. I will continue to reflect here, but if there is anything that needs me, I, Long, am willing to bleed. I will definitely do my best for the big boss until I die. Yi Wan Guang glanced at Zhao Honglong with appreciation. It's really good to have this kind of awareness. You can rest assured that I will put in a good word for you when I go back. Thank you, second boss. Zhao Honglong was waiting for this sentence. There was no one else who could speak in front of the big boss except for the second boss. Therefore, the second boss was definitely the one who spoke the most. Yi Wan Guang saw that there was nothing else, so he was ready to go back. Before he left, he specially instructed the manager to be sure to settle the matter of the guest in room number 8. After he was done, he should contact Yi Wan Guang in time to let him know that this matter was over. The manager with glasses nodded again and again. He promised the second boss that this matter would be done beautifully and not leave any trace. Just as Su Yun walked out of the sauna center and got on the car, the people he arranged were watching. What they had to do was to find an opportunity to find a way to force the car to stop. Then, they would go up and threaten the person to drive the car to a remote place. Then, they would directly kill the person and destroy the evidence. Everything was so simple. There were only a few people who worked in the Jutsai group who hadn't done such a heartless thing, so they didn't take it seriously at all. They really didn't take it seriously. Chapter 1944. Soo-yoon noticed that he was being watched the moment he got in the car. He didn't think too much about it. If they wanted to follow him, then let them. They wouldn't be able to play any tricks anyway. Soo-yoon certainly wouldn't easily expose his whereabouts and destination. He directly drove in the opposite direction of Shinkai Hotel. Driving west, the further he went from Shanjiang City, the further he went. Although Soo-yoon wasn't particularly familiar with the roads in Shanjiang City, he knew that it would be more and more remote if he continued driving like this. The car that had been following Soo-yoon didn't seem to want to give Soo-yoon too much of a chance. It suddenly accelerated and directly blocked Soo-yoon's car. A person quickly jumped out of the car and directly rushed to Soo-yoon's car. Soo-yoon rolled down the window and pretended to be innocent. "What's the meaning of this? I didn't intentionally block the car. What do you mean by this? Do you want to hit me? Then I'll definitely post it on the internet and make you restless. Stop talking nonsense." The person who walked to Soo-yoon's car unceremoniously flashed the dagger in his hand. He directly put it through the window and aimed at Soo-yoon's face. "Open the door and lock it." Soo-yoon was pointed at by the dagger, but he didn't resist. He immediately unlocked the door according to the person's request. The person quickly opened the back door and directly sat in Soo-yoon's car. Then, he held the dagger behind the driver's seat and continued to threaten Soo-yoon. "Follow the car in front closely. Wherever he goes, you follow. Otherwise, I'll slit your throat right now. Don't. It's really not necessary. If you want money, I'll give you money. Soo-yoon, if you threaten me with a dagger, I won't drive anymore. It's too dangerous to drive. If I'm distracted and rear-end someone, we'll all be in trouble. Stop talking nonsense. Do whatever I tell you to do. Why do you have so many reasons? If you dare to rear-end someone, I'll dare to stab you to death. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try." The man threatened fiercely. Obviously, he wasn't joking. As he spoke, the dagger was already pressed against Soo-yoon's neck. The cold blade really made Soo-yoon alert. Soo-yoon quickly said, "I'll drive. I'll drive seriously. I promise there won't be any mistakes. But don't put the knife so close to me. You might hurt me if you start and stop. This knife is too sharp. Can you not give me so much pressure? If you really cut my neck, wouldn't I be done for? It's good that you know." When the man saw that Soo-yoon was starting to get scared, he stopped being so aggressive. He withdrew the dagger and ordered Soo-yoon to drive. Soo-yoon followed closely into the car in front, and the car once again drove to an even more remote area in the western suburbs. In the western suburbs of Shenjiang, there was an old reservoir that was almost covered by weeds. Originally, it could be developed into a good leisure resort, but for some reason, no one took care of it. This place was very strange. In a few years, there were dozens of people who came to this place to commit suicide. Perhaps it was because of this reason that people didn't dare to come to this place for fun. They felt that the energy here was too strong. Later, there were rumors that this place was very strange. Once you arrived, there would be people who would induce you to commit suicide. They would induce you to consider things in the direction of suicide. Although these were all rumors, it would naturally make people feel that it was strange. Not to mention coming here in the middle of the night, even if it was daytime, it would probably make people feel lingering fear. The man sitting in Soo-yoon's car seemed to be very dissatisfied with his companion's choice of place. He scolded a few times. Soo-yoon could hear that this guy was very afraid of this place. Finally, the car stopped. The man immediately pressed the dagger against the back of Soo-yoon's head, forcing him to open the door and get out. Soo-yoon also opened the door and got out of the car very cooperatively. Such a sparsely populated place was indeed a good choice for him. "Are you crazy? Why did you choose such a damn place? Didn't you hear that another person just died in this place a few days ago?" The man with the dagger was obviously quite dissatisfied with his companion who drove and led the way, so when his companion got out of the car and appeared in front of them, he couldn't help but complain. "It's good because it's a damn place." The man said, "Can't you just make it look like he committed suicide? The police won't be able to investigate the situation. Yo, they are going to kill him. Su Yun was startled after hearing this. It's quite ruthless. Why? Did I say something I shouldn't have when I was in the sauna center? No, he had always been very careful and attentive. You too, it's not that bad, right? Su Yun, didn't your boss say that he would let me go? I didn't make any malicious requests. I have already paid the money that I should pay. Why are you doing this to me? The man with the dagger snorted. You can only blame yourself for being unlucky. The technician who served you said that you saw her when she opened the secret mechanism. Brother, you really can't blame us. If you didn't see the mechanism, you would be fine. But since you saw it, then we can only apologize. Just because I saw it, I will die? Su Yun said in surprise. Your boss is really ruthless. There's no other way. Safety first. The other man said, in any case, you already know the cause of this matter. Even if you die, you can die clearly and understand the reason. Go in peace. Don't resist. You can also make yourself feel more comfortable. As he spoke, the man had already taken out a thick hemp rope about 2 meters long. Looking at his hand movements, he was ready to strangle Su Yun to death. 2 big brothers. Killing people is not a joke. Aren't you afraid that the police will find you? Su Yun pretended to be nervous. If the police are so smart, we brothers would have already gone in. We wouldn't be here waiting on you in the middle of the night. The man with the dagger said, anyway, you are a person who is going to die. I won't hide it from you. We have a murder case on us. It doesn't matter if you have one more. Su Yun took a cold breath. These guys are really sinful. When he got out of the car just now, he had already turned on the recording function of his mobile phone. Some evidence simply collected was better than nothing. You killed people because your boss asked you to do it? Su Yun said nervously, well, you do it for money. I give you money, and you let me go. How about it? You won't lose out at all in this deal. The man sneered, don't give me that. We won't joke with our lives for money. If the second boss knows that we let you go today, then the 2 of us will be dead. Who is your second boss? He is so ruthless. Su Yun pretended to be at a loss. Okay, you are going to die anyway. I will tell you. The man said, have you heard of the Jutsai group? Our big boss is the famous Yi Wanyang. The second boss you saw today is Yi Wanguang. Do you know what kind of people they are in Shenzhen? In Shenzhen, they could kill anyone they wanted to kill, and they could also kill anyone they wanted to live. With such great ability, even the government of Shenzhen is no match for our Jutsai group. Su Yun had a look of surprise on his face. Then you guys are too amazing. You don't even put anyone in your eyes. That is necessary. So if our second boss wants you to die, you must die. The man with the hemp rope suddenly launched an attack and directly wrapped the rope around Su Yun's neck. He wanted to strangle Su Yun to death. Unfortunately, Su Yun was already prepared. When the other party attacked, he quickly used his right hand to block the hemp rope that was going to strangle his neck. When the other party exerted force, he also exerted force. Grabbing the hemp rope, he suddenly exerted force and bent his body. The guy who attacked Su Yun from behind was ruthlessly thrown to the ground. This throw was at least 2 meters in the air and he fell heavily on the ground that was full of big and small stones. It definitely made him want to die. Sorry, I used a bit too much force. Su Yun smiled slightly. Seeing that his companion was attacked, the man with the dagger didn't even think and directly stabbed at Su Yun's back. Judging from the ruthlessness of these 2 people, Su Yun concluded that these 2 people must have killed someone. It was impossible for a person who killed someone for the first time to make such a decisive judgment. After all, it was a matter of life and death. It was impossible to say that one wouldn't hesitate. Only those who had committed heinous acts such as murder and arson would act decisively at this time because they were already familiar with it. Chapter 1945. How fast Su Yun's movements were, it was not something that could be seen clearly by the other party. With a flip of his body and a kick, the man's knife missed its target, and at the same time, Soo-yun's heel ruthlessly smashed into his cheekbone. In fact, the bones on a person's face were quite fragile. They would often suffer serious damage from a heavy blow. The feeling of having one's cheekbone broken was particularly terrifying. It was as if the whole face was about to collapse. It was definitely very, very terrifying. The dagger villain, who was still fierce just now, was screaming at the moment. He had already thrown away his dagger. He didn't know if he should hold his face and roll on the ground. The guy who almost broke his waist got up again. Although he hadn't thrown away the hemp rope in his hands were faintly numb from the fall just now. He couldn't exert any strength. At this moment, he was a little worried. He didn't expect the other party to be so skilled. That was why the two of them were in such a difficult situation. "Don't force me. If you force me into a dead end, I can do anything." Soo-yun smiled. Now all the pressure was on the other party. They couldn't figure out what kind of trick Soo-yun was playing. Why was his skill so good? To be honest, they really didn't think that it was their carelessness that led to the current situation. In fact, this result didn't need to be surprising at all. There was no suspense at all, let alone the two of them coming to deal with Soo-yun. Even if Zhao Honglong and Aku, who were full of confidence, came, they might not be able to deal with Soo-yun. This had nothing to do with attitude and caution. It was just a stark difference in strength. This difference in strength couldn't be changed no matter what method was used. Therefore, they didn't need to blame themselves at all. They just needed to know that they had provoked the wrong person. "You'd better not resist. Even if you can escape today, our boss will arrange for someone to catch you tomorrow." The man was afraid because he felt a trace of murderous intent from the other party. Soo-yun was really not a kind person. These two people dared to sneak attack him like this. He really wanted to end their lives on the spot. After all, for Soo-yun, the death of such a person with a murder case was not enough to be regretted. Soo-yun didn't care about human rights like the Europeans and Americans. He didn't even care about the death penalty, no matter what kind of heinous crime was committed. In Soo-yun's eyes, those who committed those inhumane crimes didn't deserve to be respected by human rights. They deserved to die. It wasn't a pity at all. But now, Soo-yun really wouldn't kill them. First of all, he didn't have the desire to kill. He wasn't the kind of person who would kill. Secondly, he needed these witnesses who could prove that the Jutsai group had committed a crime, and these two were definitely very good candidates. Of course, all of this couldn't disturb the police yet. Soo-yun could only solve it himself, so he had to use some illegal means in private. Although it was against the law to imprison and restrict other people's freedom, Soo-yun could only do this. There was a good saying, "Rules are dead, but people are alive." In order to get the final result, Soo-yun didn't care about these small details. He was also a person who didn't care about trifles. So what if it was against the rules? Anyway, the two people he was dealing with weren't good people. After 3 minutes, Soo-yun had already tied the two people up with the hemp rope in the man's hand. Now, there was only one place left. In Shenzhen, he could only ask Yi Fala for help. After Yi Fala understood the situation, he really admired Soo-yun from the bottom of his heart. Wan Xiao hadn't done anything yet, but he had already captured 2 people. Now, these people couldn't be handed over to the police. Sigh, this was really troublesome. But since Soo-yun had asked, Yi Fala would definitely help with all her strength. Soon, she thought of a suitable place. "I have a friend who is a loan shark. He will catch some people who can't pay back the money they borrowed and bring them to a courtyard in his hometown in the countryside. There are many dogs and many dog cages there. He will put the people who can't pay back the money into the dog cages and arrange for people to raise them like dogs. They are really fed like dogs. They will eat whatever the dogs eat." "That's disgusting." Soo-yun smiled. "What if the dogs eat poop? Do they eat poop too?" "Don't interrupt." Yi Fala said, "He won't let these people starve to death. He will only let them go when the families of these people have gathered the money and paid it back to him." Su Yun nodded. It was really a good choice. They wouldn't starve to death. It was safe and reliable, and the cost was low. It was just eating dog food. It was really too frugal. Then, is it convenient for your friend to accept these two people? Yi Fala said with certainty. Of course it's convenient. He has dozens of dog cages. I believe he won't use so many. It should be easy to leave them for the two of us. Then you contact him. I will go now, Su Yun said. Yi Fala nodded. I will send you the address after I contact him. You can bring them there directly. I will wait for you there. Okay. Su Yun hung up the phone and threw the two people who were tied up into his car trunk. You two better behave yourselves. I will bring you to a place with food and drinks. I guarantee you will have a good time. The two people looked at Su Yun in horror. However, because their mouths were stuffed with stones and sealed with tape by Su Yun, they couldn't speak at all. They could only shake their heads. Su Yun closed the trunk with a bang. The whole world became much quieter. Before Yi Fala sent the address, Su Yun didn't stay idle. He drove the other party's car to the side of a slope in the abandoned reservoir. He stepped on the accelerator and quickly opened the door and jumped out of the car. The car directly plunged into the reservoir. No one would swim in this godforsaken place. The car would sink forever. In order to prevent his whereabouts from being exposed, Su Yun violated the rules and removed his license plate. In case the people of the Jutsai group had the ability to trace his license plate number, then he could avoid a lot of trouble. After everything was settled, Su Yun also received the address sent by Yi Fala. She said that everything was settled. She just said that there were two people who didn't return the money and asked him to help take care of them for a while. The other party readily agreed. He also said that his place was very idle now. There were only 3 people locked up. Now that 2 more people came, it would definitely be lively. He couldn't ask for more. With the other party's words, Yi Fala was relieved to let Su Yun go. She also drove to the destination as quickly as possible. She arrived before Su Yun and quickly settled the matter. She also chose the dog cage for the 2 people. After Su Yun arrived, the 2 people immediately checked in. Everything happened too suddenly. The 2 people didn't know what happened. However, since they were here, it was not up to them. After Su Yun and Yi Fala expressed their gratitude many times, they didn't waste too much time and quickly left the place. For safety reasons, Su Yun also drove his car to a pay parking lot. He would just leave it there. It wouldn't be too late for him to drive when the matter was settled. After all, this car appeared at the entrance of Tiangong No. 1, and their people were also lost contact because of Su Yun. Fortunately, Yi Fala gave Su Yun enough support. After returning to the hotel, she gave her car key to Su Yun and let him use the car. She knew that Su Yun would definitely have to travel a lot in and out every day. As for Wan Xiao, after he left Tiangong No. 1 and confirmed that he wasn't being followed, he returned to the Xinkai Hotel. When he arrived at the hotel, he went directly to his room to rest. He would once again enter the 2-day dormant period. This time was to give the police more momentum and also give Yi Wanguang time to talk about him with the real leader of the Jutsai group. All of this needed to be controlled by himself. Every stage of the fire had to be very accurate. Only then could the final result reach his satisfaction. Chapter 1946. After Yi Wanguang left the Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center, he immediately contacted his elder brother. Yi Wanyang was still very worried about the incident at the sauna center today. Otherwise, Yi Wanyang would not have arranged for Yi Wanguang to handle it personally. Elder brother, the matter has been resolved. You definitely wouldn't have thought that the person causing trouble there was actually the most popular S-level wanted criminal in Shenzhen. When Yi Wanguang said this, he could not help but sound surprised and excited. I'll go to you right now. I have an idea that I need to tell you right away. Yi Wanyang was not affected by his brother's words at all. Just now, he and Yi Wanguang had come to discuss a business deal. After Yi Wanguang left, he solved some other problems in the business cooperation by himself. Now that the business partner had left, he was left alone in the tea house where he had just discussed the matter. Won-young especially liked drinking tea. Even if drinking tea always made him lose sleep at night, he still could not go without tea leaves every day. "I haven't left yet. Come and find me," Won-young said faintly and directly hung up the phone. Won-gwang naturally did not dare to disobey his elder brother's orders. He immediately asked Aku to drive directly to the tea house. Regarding Wen Xiao, he really needed to meet him in person to be able to explain more clearly. No matter what, he felt that they had to get this talent. Won-young tasted the tea and quietly waited for his second brother's arrival. Won-gwang knew very well that his elder brother hated waiting for people the most, so he asked Aku to drive very fast. After arriving at the tea house, Won-gwang immediately went to the room they had booked for a long time. "Elder brother, I'm here. Sorry to keep you waiting." After Won-gwang pushed the door and entered, he saw that his elder brother was not in a good mood. He stepped forward and filled his empty teacup with tea. "How's the business discussion?" "It's okay." Won-young nodded. "You came quite quickly." Won-gwang nodded and poured a cup of tea for himself. Then he went straight to the point. "Elder brother, it's really Wen Xiao, the national S-level wanted criminal Wen Xiao. The one causing trouble at Heavenly Palace No. 1 today was actually him. I really didn't expect it." Won-yang looked up at his second brother. He was still very calm. "The police just confirmed that he was a wanted criminal in Shenzhen City, and you met him today? Take him down and give him to the police as a gift." "Big brother, are you joking?" Won-gwang was startled. "This is a talent. If we use him, then it will be a huge fortune for our Jutsai group." "For our use? Haha. You should know a little about Wen Zhao's situation." Won-young smiled slightly. Won-gwang nodded. "Of course I know. I even checked his information carefully on the way here. This guy is definitely a genius. He's even more powerful than I imagined. He once established a mercenary group in Southeast Asia. People call him One Eye. He's definitely a ruthless character." Won-young nodded and gestured for second brother to continue. "I'm sure that such a talent is very important to us. The help he can give us is too much. We need someone like him who has absolute experience in dealing with emergencies. He is really different from the others." Won-gwang said urgently, "Brother, think about it. He has the ability to escape from Beijing. How many people in our Jutsai group can do that?" "I'm afraid there aren't any." Won-young didn't deny it. "I don't think there are people with this ability in our Jutsai group. It's hard to find someone with this ability in the whole of Huaxia. See, big brother, if you think so too, then we must find a way to get him under our Jutsai group. That way, our strength will be even stronger." Won-gwang seemed to have seen a more brilliant future for them. "Second brother, you've always been very cautious. Then have you ever thought of a question? Why would Wen Xiao dare to cause trouble in our sauna center when he's in such a dangerous situation? He didn't take this matter seriously at all?" Won-gwang was stunned. "No matter how powerful he is, if it were anyone else in this situation, I'm afraid they would be the first to be cautious." Won-young said, "Have you ever suspected that Wen Xiao did this on purpose to let us discover him?" "Discover him?" Won-gwang suddenly realized. "Big brother, you're really thoughtful. If that's the case, then he's interested in our Jutsai group? He wants to join us? Why does he know what our Jutsai group does? Why does he want to join us?" "That's right." Won-gwang didn't understand now. It was impossible for Wen Xiao to know what their group did. Those illegal things were very confidential, so Wen Xiao wouldn't know that they were a super criminal gang. Then Wen Xiao had no reason to join them. Then why did he want them to notice him? "I'm worried. This Wen Xiao knows about our situation." Won-young expressed his doubts. "If he knows about our nature, so he wants to attract our attention and join us, then it means that someone told him about us behind the scenes. Who do you think is behind him, or what kind of organization? Yi Wenguang couldn't understand. Big brother, we don't have any business dealings with Southeast Asia. We have never touched the business of illegal goods. So, I think Wen Xiao can only know about our true nature from an individual or unit who wants to catch us and find evidence of us. Yi Wenyang said lightly. Yi Wenguang was shocked. Big brother, it can't be? You mean? Wen Xiao intentionally contacted us to let us notice him, and then he joined us to collect evidence of our crimes? Yi Wenyang nodded. Impossible, big brother. This is absolutely impossible. He's a wanted criminal. He can't have contact with the police. Yi Wenguang shook his head vigorously. A person who stole state secrets could escape from Yanjing. You and I are very surprised. There are many people who are as surprised as us. Yi Wenyang said. Why? Because no one believes that a person who stole state secrets could escape from Yanjing. That's why everyone is surprised and feels that it's inconceivable, isn't it? Yi Wenguang's eyes widened. Is all of this fake? It's all fake. Of course, I'm not sure. But I still have my suspicions about this. Yi Wenyang calmed down. I don't deny that this Wen Xiao is definitely not an ordinary person. He is definitely very strong. If he is really a person who can steal state secrets and escape from Yanjing, then he is definitely a talent that we can only meet by chance. But if he isn't, then he is definitely a super spy. Yi Wenguang took a deep breath. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? Super spy? Spy among spies? Second brother, I've always been at ease with you. Because you know very well that we have to be cautious and careful in our line of work. You've always done very well. Yi Wenyang said, but I think you're a bit too hasty in this matter. Because you want to get such a talent too much, you're doing it for the good of Ju Kai Group. That's why you might not consider it fully. Big brother, I understand. Yi Wenguang said, I'll consider it carefully, but so far, I feel that Wen Xiao has no intention of approaching us. Because I've already made things very clear today. I said that I want to be friends with him, but he didn't even take my business card. Yi Wenyang nodded. This is indeed a good sign. However, I think we still need time to prove it. Let's first see what the police are doing. If the police are only pretending to catch him, then it means that there is a big problem. If the police are investigating him strictly, then we can indeed consider it. Yi Wenguang's admiration for his big brother was like the endless waves of the river. Big brother, I'll definitely contact the police in the next few days. If this Wen Xiao has the slightest possibility of being a spy, when I see him again, I'll definitely let him know that if he wants to provoke us, he will definitely pay a price that he can't imagine. It's getting late. Let's go back. What belongs to us can't run away. What doesn't belong to us can't be forced. Yi Wenyang smiled slightly. Like you, I hope that all of this is beneficial to us. Chapter 1947. It was already late at night. After Su Yun returned to the hotel, he thought for a long time. In the end, he decided to report today's matter to his superiors. He knew very well that Wen Xiao wouldn't contact his superiors before he could confirm anything. He wouldn't complain about his difficulties, and he wouldn't ask for support or cooperation. Su Yun had met the second boss of the Jutsai group, Yi Wenguang. He could feel that this person was very shrewd and cautious. He was only the second in command, yet he already had such a brain. How shrewd would the big boss of the Jutsai group, Yi Wenyang, be? Su Yun didn't even dare to think about it. This kind of person was definitely very difficult to deceive and deal with. Wen Zhao's situation wasn't ideal. This was the answer that Su Yun came to after analyzing for a long time. Their contact was indeed too fast. Wen Xiao was a person who knew his current situation. If he still dared to cause trouble in public, he might be suspected by others. Moreover, the police didn't search for Wen Xiao too intensely. As an ordinary person, they didn't feel the tension and threat that the police gave them. They didn't feel the strong sense of crisis that Wen Zhao's appearance in Shenzhen City brought to Shenzhen City. These were the conditions that influenced the core members of the Jutsai group to trust and suspect Wen Xiao. Wen Zhao's situation would only be more favorable if these external conditions were sufficiently coordinated. After thinking about it, Su Yun directly contacted Wan Guangxiao. After all, only a few people in the Dragon Brigade knew that he was involved in this matter. The fewer people who knew, the higher the success rate of this matter. Wan Guangxiao was also very clear about this point. Wan Guangxiao was really helpless when he received a call from Su Yun in the middle of the night. "Do you think that an old man like me shouldn't rest so well after living for too long? You're stirring me up in the middle of the night. What are you thinking?" "Chief, I definitely have good intentions. There's a situation that needs to be reported to you. I'm asking for your instructions." Su Yun chuckled embarrassedly. It was indeed a little late, but he really couldn't make himself wait all night without explaining the situation. "You are so cunning. If I believe you, then I would be too stupid," Wan Guangxiao said. "If you have anything to report, then say it quickly. I still want to sleep." Su Yun went straight to the point and told Wan Guangxiao everything that happened today. Wan Guangxiao frowned as he listened. To be honest, Wen Zhao's method was indeed a bit too radical. He was also a bit too impatient. However, he could also understand Wen Zhao's eagerness to perform meritorious deeds. "Chief, that's how it is. I think I need to ask you what we should do next to assist Wen Xiao," Su Yun said. Wan Guangxiao laughed dryly. "Kid, do you think I don't know you well enough? If you don't have any ideas, you won't call me for instructions. Just say it directly. Tell me what you think." Su Yun smiled embarrassedly. "Chief knows me well. Chief is wise. Stop flattering me. Say it." Wan Guangxiao wasn't sleepy at all now. In fact, with his experience, he could understand how to deal with this kind of thing. However, he had to admit that people at his age definitely couldn't think faster than Su Yun. "I think we should increase the Shenzhong police's efforts to arrest Wen Xiao. Su Yun, this kind of publicity can make the people of the Jutsai group realize the danger of Wen Xiao because it's impossible for the people of the Jutsai group to not be suspicious of Wen Xiao's appearance. Once the police increase their efforts to arrest him, the mole that the Jutsai group bought in the police will tell them about it. This can unconsciously increase their trust in Wen Xiao." Wan Guangxiao nodded. Indeed, as Su Yun said, letting Wen Xiao do something to increase the trust of the core people of the Jutsai group was far less effective than this kind of unconsciously increasing trust. This kind of trust was generated without any contact with Wen Xiao. In other words, the people of the Jutsai group trusted themselves. This kind of trust was far greater than the kind of trust that Wen Xiao brought to them, and it made it easier for them to reduce their suspicion of Wen Xiao. "Chief, this is the best way I can think of now." "Su Yun, I think you must have a better way. You're really getting better at flattering." Wan Guangxiao said, "I didn't even think of the way you said. What good way can I have?" After a pause, Wan Guangxiao continued, "To be honest, your method is absolutely feasible. I will hold an emergency meeting now and talk to the person in charge of this operation about the current situation. Tomorrow, we will order the Shenzhong police to increase their efforts to arrest Wen Xiao. This will make the entire Shenzhong nervous enough. As long as the situation in Shenzhong is nervous, the Jutsai group will also be nervous. Su Yun, I believe that if they really want to get a talent that they can value, they will definitely rush to give Wen Xiao enough help before the police really arrest him." "That's right," Wan Guangxiao said. "Su Yun, fortunately, you took the initiative to participate in this operation. If it weren't for you, our progress really wouldn't be so fast, and we really wouldn't have realized that there are so many things that are worth paying attention to." Su Yun smiled and said, "Thank you for the praise, Chief. I'm not praising you. I'm encouraging you. I'm telling you that without you, it would be very difficult for us to succeed." Wan Guangxiao said, "So, you know what you should do, right?" "Chief, don't worry. I know my own position. I will do my best to cooperate with this operation." "Su Yun, I will also do my best to ensure Wen Zhao's safety." Wan Guangxiao shook his head and said, "That's not what I mean." What I mean is that you must also pay attention to your own safety. You must be very careful. You must think twice before you do anything. This is my request to you, and also my order to you. Do you understand? Yes, I promise to complete the mission. Su Yun and Wan Guangxiao's concern made Su Yun feel warm all over. One must know that the zombie chief's impression in their hearts was that he was a heartless and cold-blooded person. Su Yun really didn't expect the chief to have such a time. Have a good rest. Wan Guangxiao said, there are some things that Wen Xiao can't communicate in time, so you really need to communicate with me in time. Remember, no matter how late it is, as long as it's important, you must inform me immediately. Su Yun smiled and said, as long as the chief doesn't scold me for disturbing your rest, I can definitely do it. Stop being so cheeky. Go and rest. This is an order. Wan Guangxiao directly hung up the phone after he finished speaking. He didn't go home yesterday and stayed in the army today. Perhaps it was intuition, or perhaps it was experience, but he knew that there must be urgent matters to deal with in these 2 days. If he went home to rest, he would disturb the madam. Su Yun directly went to rest after he hung up the phone. Maintaining his energy was really a task for Su Yun. Wan Guangxiao got up and put on his clothes. He quickly dialed a phone number and told the other party that there was a very important matter. He called for an emergency meeting and told everyone in the Wan Xiao Undercover Jutsai Group Special Task Force to gather immediately. Wan Guangxiao suddenly felt a long-lost passion. He hadn't experienced this feeling for a long time. It was really the feeling of being young. To be honest, the feeling of being young was really good, really good. If the heavens could grant Wan Guangxiao one wish, Wan Guangxiao would definitely want to return to being young again. Time spared no man. White hair had already grown out from his temples. He didn't know how long he could hold on. The older he got, the less capable he was. Although he was an expert in the profound world realm and had more energy than many young people and a healthier body, his heart could never be young again. Where did the time go? Wan Guangxiao asked himself. He felt that the answer to this was very simple, but he couldn't answer it. Because almost all of his time was dedicated to the country, to the Dragon Brigade. After so many years, day after day, year after year, it had long become a habit that could never be removed from his body. He knew that there would be a day when he would have to leave his post. He really didn't know how he would face that day. When the time came, he was afraid that he would be like all the people who had to leave the Dragon Brigade because of special circumstances. He really couldn't bear it, couldn't bear it. Chapter 1948. Wan Zhao's matter had already made Qin Wan unable to rest well for 2 nights. Today, when she just arrived at the station, she received a notice from the secretary of the city leader. An emergency meeting about Wan Zhao's case was immediately held. This emergency meeting could be said to have shocked the entire Shenzhen. All the leaders of the public security departments were present. Due to some special reasons of the police leadership, the meeting that should have been attended by the bureau chief was replaced by the 3 deputy bureau chiefs. The Armed Police Detachment, the Special Police Detachment, the National Security Bureau, and the people in charge of the Shenzhen area all participated in this meeting. The importance of this matter to the city leader was far beyond everyone's imagination. He even directly issued a clear order that Wen Xiao must be caught in Shenzhen. And this matter had to be solved in the shortest time possible. Due to Wen Zhao's special identity and special strength, the time given by the city leader was really sufficient. Wen Xiao must be caught within 10 days. If they couldn't catch him or let Wen Xiao escape, everyone present would have to take off their police uniform. When this hard target was issued, everyone present was shocked. This was really the most difficult challenge they had encountered in their lives, right? 10 days, 10 days, it sounded like a lot, but in the face of the current situation where there were no clues, their heads were about to explode. The city leader's words had already been issued, and no one dared to say anything. Although the city leader now allowed them to speak about their difficulties and the support they felt that they needed, the entire conference room was still silent. No one thought that the first person to speak would be Zhang Guoping. Perhaps he was the only person who had reached the end of his career and wasn't afraid of taking off his police uniform. "Leader, this matter is indeed difficult," Zhang Guoping said. "I'm not saying that we don't have the confidence to catch him within 10 days, but for such a serious criminal to be able to escape under the eyes of so many police forces in Yanjing, it really isn't something that we can definitely catch with a specific time." With Zhang Guoping's words, it also spurred others to speak. Some people said that Wen Xiao had entered Shenzhen without leaving any traces. They couldn't even be sure if Wen Xiao was really in Shenzhen. This condition was too harsh. However, the city leader's reply was very direct. Wan Zhao's arrival in Shenzhen was confirmed by the higher-ups, so they definitely could not doubt the accuracy of this news. If they couldn't even believe that Wen Xiao was in Shenzhen, how could they catch him? If he didn't even believe in himself, how could he catch him? Deputy Director Qin, tell me what you think. Ever since you arrived in Shenzhen, you've been cracking major cases. It's said that you've cracked major cases when you were still a police officer in Hadong. Zheng Yun suddenly said, "I feel that at times like this, you have more experience than any of us. This matter really requires you to be serious in order to solve it." Zhang Yun spoke very seriously and seriously. In the entire meeting room, only Zhang Guoping, who knew that the two of them were not on good terms, understood that Zheng Yun's current actions were to make things difficult for Qin Wan'er and put her in a difficult position. Qin Weiner's mind was in a mess. Su Yun's words had been hovering in her mind. In the entire Shenzhen, she was the only one who knew that Wen Xiao was a spy. Everyone was 100% sure that Wen Xiao was a super dangerous wanted criminal. What kind of concept was this? Qin Weiner was the only one who knew the truth. She couldn't solve this case and catch Wen Xiao. However, she still had to act like she was actively trying to catch Wen Xiao. If Wen Xiao encountered a serious crisis brought by the police, she had to rescue Wen Xiao without anyone knowing. Oh God. The thing that Su Yun asked her to do was really too difficult. Qin Weiner had never thought that she would encounter such a thorny problem in her life. During the entire meeting, she was muddle-headed. Her mind was constantly thinking about her own matter. She didn't even listen to the city leader's 10-day deadline to solve the case. Zhang Yun's sudden words made Qin Wan'er even more confused. Zheng Yun, oh Zheng Yun, this guy was really annoying. Qin Weiner wanted to drag him out of the meeting room and give him a good beating. Of course, Qin Weiner could only think about it. It was impossible for her to put it into practice. Qin Weiner didn't know where to start. However, the city leader seemed to be very interested in Zheng Yun's proposal. Indeed, Qin Weiner was a very outstanding young policewoman in Shenzhen City. She was also a young person who had made great achievements in the Shenzhen City's police force. The city leader's expectations of Qin Weiner were definitely higher than anyone else's. Otherwise, Qin Weiner wouldn't have been promoted to the position of deputy director at such a young age. All the leaders were quietly waiting for Qin Weiner to come up with an arrest plan. They were all confident in Qin Weiner. They thought that Qin Weiner must have a way to solve the trouble that Wen Xiao had brought to Shenzhen. Just say it boldly. We all support you. No matter what you need, you can just say it directly. We will do our best to cooperate with you. It wasn't difficult to hear from the city leader's words that they were indeed full of expectations for Qin Weiner. Zheng Yun was also looking forward to it. He just wanted to see how capable Qin Weiner was. If she could really deal with these city leaders on this matter, then Zheng Yun would have nothing to say. He admitted that he couldn't compare with Qin Weiner at all. If Qin Weiner couldn't come up with a convincing answer, then don't blame him for playing tricks this time. Qin Weiner had been in the limelight so many times. Now she wanted to keep a low profile? That was impossible. If Qin Weiner didn't know that Wen Xiao was a spy, she wouldn't have made it difficult for this matter. She must have already thought of a plan to arrest Wen Xiao, because it was her job and her obligation. But now Qin Weiner wasn't prepared for anything. She didn't want the police to really have a face-to-face confrontation with Wen Xiao. In that case, she didn't know what else she could do to help Wen Xiao. I'm sorry. I really can't think of a good way to deal with this matter. Qin Weiner could only say such words that disappointed the city leaders. I hope that the city leaders can give us enough time. We will definitely think of a way. We will definitely be able to find traces of Wan Xiao. Zhang Yun suddenly said, Deputy Bureau Chief Qin, what you mean is, the 10 days that the city leaders gave are not enough? This isn't your style. 10 days? Qin Weiner was stunned. It turned out that the city leaders had given them a time limit to solve the case. She didn't even hear it in her mind. Obviously, Qin Weiner's performance disappointed the city leaders. The city leaders expressionlessly asked Qin Weiner to sit down and think about what she had come to the meeting for. Zhang Guoping also heard the anger in the city leader's tone. He didn't expect Qin Weiner to be so absent-minded about this case. This was indeed not her style of doing things. This obviously made Zhang Yun very happy. Zhang Yun also took the opportunity to stand up. It was time to show off himself. Please rest assured, leaders. We will not leave any leeway. Yesterday, I started a large-scale investigation of all the hotels in Shenzhen. I believe that as long as we are willing to do things, we will definitely get the results we want. After the city leaders heard Zhang Yun's solemn speech, their mood recovered a little. They praised Zhang Yun and said that Shenzhen needed such passionate and responsible police officers. If they didn't even have a basic sense of responsibility, they didn't deserve to be the people's police. These words were more or less for Qin Weiner to hear. Although Qin Weiner felt uncomfortable, she could only silently endure all of this. She wouldn't make any rebuttal. She realized that she had to change. It was absolutely impossible for her to continue like this. Please rest assured, leaders. Everyone in our police station will bring out 100% confidence to solve Wen Zhao's problem. Zhang Guoping opened his mouth again. I believe that Deputy Bureau Chief Qin also attaches enough importance to this matter. Because of this matter, she hasn't rested well for 2 days and 2 nights. That's why she's a little absent-minded today. I hope the city leaders can understand. Hearing Zhang Guoping speak up for her, Qin Weiner was really touched. Although Zhang Yun was unhappy, Zhang Guoping was a good person. He didn't have any intention to target Zhang Yun, so Zhang Yun couldn't say anything. Hearing Zhang Guoping's words, the city leaders had the intention to forgive Qin Weiner for being absent-minded just now. They also expressed their concern and sympathy. They told Qin Weiner to ensure that she had enough rest while working. If she couldn't even guarantee her physical condition, not only would it not improve her work efficiency, it would also bring negative effects. Qin Weiner also took this opportunity to express her firm attitude. She also promised that she wouldn't disappoint the city leaders and would definitely bring Wen Xiao to justice. Chapter 1949. Wen Xiao didn't know about all this. Luckily, he didn't intend to go out and cause trouble, so he stayed in the hotel for the whole day. Sometimes, patience is the best way to attack. Wen Xiao knew what he needed to do now. Hiding better would be the standard for Jutsai Group to be interested in him. Actually, Wen Xiao wasn't too satisfied with the police's arrest. There wasn't much of a commotion, which was why even though the entire Shenzhen knew of his arrival, they didn't feel any special tension. This was definitely disadvantageous to Wen Xiao. Jutsai Group didn't need to admire and obtain a person with no influence. In this short period of time, the whole of Shenzhen was in turmoil. Everything seemed to have changed. The special police helicopter hovered in the sky for almost the whole day. The armed police force was mobilized and blocked all the roads in and out of Shenzhen. The police began a more thorough search. With this series of developments, the whole of Shenzhen started to have an atmosphere. This different atmosphere could definitely make everyone in Shenzhen fall into a state of shock. That's right, everyone, ordinary people, started to realize how dangerous and important this S-level wanted criminal was. More than 90% of the people of Shenzhen had never seen the police attack in such a large formation. Even Shenzhen port had undergone a full security lockdown. This kind of mission involving the sea, land, and air completely stimulated people's nerves. Shenzhen was in danger now. Very, very dangerous. This was the answer all the people of Shenzhen gave after a day of the police mission. Shenzhen, which used to have a lively nightlife, actually had such a strange and quiet situation. The Bund, which was full of people every day, had far less than 1/5 of the usual traffic. This was not only reflected on the various streets, but also in the shopping malls, restaurants, bars. Almost every industry was affected by this incident. The director of Shenzhen's tourism bureau was furious. This damned when Xiao jumped to Shenzhen, and his entire tourism industry was severely affected. The whole country was reporting on Shenzhen's vigorous arrest of Wen Xiao. This news frequently made the headlines. Even a fool wouldn't choose to come to Shenzhen to play at this time. Think about it. You're taking a romantic walk with a girl on the Bund, and you're surrounded by SWAT officers with guns. You're being interrogated and searched. It didn't matter if it was inexplicable, but it would definitely affect the girl's mood. If she was in such a mood, even if she agreed to get a room with him at night, she definitely wouldn't be in the mood to do anything with him. Even if you succeeded in having sex, when you were in the mood just now, the criminal police would knock on the door of the guest room and interrogate you. You would probably be asked to show your marriage certificate. What should he do? Did he have to tell the police that they were stupid? If they had a marriage certificate, who would come all the way to Shenzhen to have sex? Those were all jokes. All in all, the entire Shenzhen was severely affected. The commotion was finally big enough, and the Jutsai group began to realize the crisis they were in. Obviously, the Jutsai group, which made a living near the port, didn't dare to make any moves. The armed police were guarding here 24 hours a day. Anything that went in and out had to be checked. They were afraid that Wen Xiao would use the loopholes here to escape. This was really ridiculous. Originally, the people of the Jutsai group planned to use the opportunity when everyone's attention was on Wen Xiao to import and export a few more batches of goods. Now, because of this incident, they were also affected. It was really not worth the loss. For this reason, the 3 core brothers of the Jutsai group immediately called for an emergency meeting. The third brother, Yi Wenqing, was having a headache about the port now. He couldn't wait to take a gun and shoot all these people, not giving them any chance to import and export goods. Second brother, I think you should have taken down Wen Xiao at that time and directly threw him to the police. Maybe the police would be happy and wouldn't care about anything. Yi Wenqing said unhappily, "Now, we can't do anything. This is only temporary." Yi Wenguang still didn't feel that his decision was inappropriate. If we use a temporary loss to exchange for such a person's loyalty, it is worth it. If this guy is not caught by the police will keep watching like this. Yi Wenqing said bluntly, "Then we will keep waiting like this? Do nothing?" Yi Wenguang stared at Yi Wenqing impatiently. "Third brother, what do you mean?" "I don't mean anything." Yi Wenqing shook his head and said, "Second brother, don't think that I am targeting you. I am just saying my thoughts. I know that you and big brother's brain are better than mine. But you know what kind of temper I have. I'm really going crazy right now. You have to endure it. It has only been a day." Yi Wenguang said, "The police can't keep watching like this. If they keep watching like this, they won't last long." After the two argued, they suddenly felt that the atmosphere wasn't right. The two immediately shut up. The eldest brother, Yi Wenyang, didn't speak. He listened to the two arguing without saying a word. Soon, the two brothers realized that something was wrong with their big brother. Then, they also shut their mouths at the same time. When Yi Wenyang saw this, he glanced at the two separately. "Say it. Why don't you continue? You said it quite well. You can express your opinions. It's okay. Big brother, I am afraid that you really need to make a decision on this matter. I really don't know what I should do. There are always people who don't agree with me. I can't do anything about it." Yi Wenguang was a little unhappy. The Jutsai group was built to its current glory by the three brothers. Among the three brothers, there was no problem with his respect for the eldest brother. There was also no problem with third brother's respect for the eldest brother. The reason was very simple. Without the eldest brother's decisive and correct decision, they couldn't have come to this point. However, there was one thing that made Yi Wanguang particularly unhappy. Third brother had never respected him. One had to know that he had always made many correct decisions for the group. He had also made greater contributions to the group than third brother. He was also an elder brother, but third brother didn't take him seriously at all. This really made him very unhappy. Second brother, if you have something to say, just say it. There are only 3 of us today. There's no need to beat around the bush. Yi Wanqing naturally had to refute. Yi Wanyang had long been used to the two's arguments, so he didn't take it seriously. Okay, stop it. I know better than you what to do. The two of them quieted down and looked at Yi Wanyang seriously, waiting for his decision. I received accurate news today. The city leader is really angry. He asked the police to arrest him within 10 days. Yi Wanyang smiled slightly. I really want to see what the police can do in 10 days. Capturing an S-class fugitive in 10 days? Just by relying on the police? This is simply impossible. Yi Wanguang shook his head and said, Arrest Wan Xiao in 10 days? Simply impossible. Second brother, this Wan Xiao is so powerful? You trust him so much? Yi Wanqing said, I didn't see you so excited when you accepted a coup back then. Yi Wanguang looked at third brother seriously. I'm really not joking. This Wan Xiao is not the same type as a coup and the rest. Although a coup and the rest are loyal and have sufficient strength, you have seen their adaptability. They don't have that. They can only listen to our clear orders. Second brother, I understand what you mean. Yi Wanyang said lightly, I know that you are interested in Wan Xiao's creativity. If he didn't have creativity, he wouldn't have been able to reach Shenzhen from Beijing. That's right, big brother. That's what I mean. We need people with creativity like him. When Yi Wanguang said this, his eyes lit up. Yi Wanyang nodded, indicating that he understood very well. That's right. We need people with creativity like him. But before that, we have to confirm one thing. Whether he really escaped from Beijing or was deliberately released by the police. As long as we have this confirmation, I will have an answer. So, we are really giving the police 10 days. Yi Wanqing was stunned. Then, the matters at the freaking port would be suspended for 10 days. That would be a huge loss. That's right. Yi Wanyang nodded. I have already made my decision. The two of you just have to follow my instructions. During this time, keep in touch with the people inside the police. Any movement is crucial to us. Chapter 1950. The police's strong search for a whole day was still fruitless. Zhang Yun was quite confident in the hotels he investigated, so they did not retarget these 5-star hotels. The current situation indeed made Qin Wan feel very relieved. Qin Wan knew that Xingkai Hotel could not be touched. Although the first time was fruitless, the second time was hard to say. Nothing could withstand repeated investigations. Su Yun left the hotel early. He wanted to see the police's actions today. Obviously, Su Yun was very satisfied with what the police were doing now. This was what Su Yun wanted. This kind of influence, this kind of exaggeration of Wen Zhao's situation, could completely change the atmosphere of the entire Shenzhen. This kind of influence would inevitably make the people of Ju Kai Group think about some problems, especially Yi Wanguang's desire for Wen Xiao to reach a peak. This way, his mood was bound to affect others. In fact, Su Yun's current situation was not so easy. Yesterday, he locked up the 2 people who wanted to kill him in a dog cage. This matter naturally would not be so easy to pass. The manager with glasses in Tiangong No. 1 did not receive a reply from his subordinates the whole night. No one answered his calls. His heart was beating fast the whole night. He finally could not bear the huge pressure. He called Zhao Honglong to his side and told him about yesterday's matter. Although Zhao Honglong was the deputy manager and was very satisfied with the manager's usual attitude, after hearing about this matter, he still could not hold back and flew into a rage. You only told me about such a big matter after a whole night? Zhao Honglong simply could not accept this fact. Then where the F***ck did he go? The manager with glasses still maintained his gentleness. Long, I really did not expect things to be like this. It's just a guest. I arranged for 2 people to catch. What happened yesterday has already shown that we can't underestimate any guest, Zhao Honglong said coldly. Zhao Honglong said coldly. Moreover, this is someone who knows how to open our secret passageway. You are really careless. Find me the video immediately. I want to see what this person looks like. Zhao Honglong's actions were very clear. Once he identified the person, he immediately mobilized all his brothers to find him. He had to find the person in the shortest time possible. He couldn't let the big boss know about this. He had already fallen out of favor with the big boss. If he couldn't even handle such a small matter in the sauna center, it would be even more shameful. This person must be found today. You are in charge of finding those 2 bastards for me. You can't even do such a small thing. Zhao Honglong gritted his teeth in hatred. Tell them that if word of the hotel's mechanism gets out, I'll make them suffer. The manager with glasses smiled bitterly in his heart. He really felt that he would have to bear the consequences now. He hoped that Zhao Honglong could solve this matter as soon as possible. He must not let this matter reach the bosses. Once the bosses found out, he would definitely not be able to sit in his position. If the matter was really just about losing his position as manager, he wouldn't be so nervous. There was another thing that he was most afraid of, because he knew too many secrets of Heavenly Palace 1. If his position was to be removed, he really didn't dare to say that he would be safe and sound. He obviously knew very well how ruthless the boss was. He really didn't dare to joke with his life. As Zhao Honglong said, he had to find the person. He had to. After finding the video surveillance of room 8 yesterday, they felt even more uncertain after watching it. This guest didn't do anything with their technician at all. He just asked the girl to dance, and his reaction was more like a person who came to find evidence. This was terrible. Who knew what was going on with this person? Get this number 18 over here. Zhao Honglong said angrily. He absolutely couldn't tolerate this kind of thing happening because they had clearly said that if the guests didn't come to enjoy the pleasure of looking for a woman to touch, then they must be very careful. Because this kind of guest was very likely to have some other purpose, and this purpose was likely to harm their interests. When technician number 18 was brought in front of Zhao Honglong directly slapped her in the face. This was a real slap. This was also a rule. All the technicians in Heavenly Palace 1 understood this rule. If they wanted to make more money, they must adhere to this rule to death. If anyone dared to break the rule, then don't blame them for being ruthless. Ting number 18 fell directly to the ground and cried bitterly. She realized yesterday that the mistake she made was likely to push her into an abyss that she would never be able to climb out of, but she really didn't expect this abyss to come so soon. Manager. I won't dare to do it again, I really won't. The girl's cry couldn't shake Zhao Honglong's compassion at all. In his eyes, this kind of girl was just a tool. The girls in Heavenly Palace 1 were all tools, a tool for men to do whatever they wanted. The guest you received yesterday had no intention of sleeping with you at all. Didn't you notice? Why didn't you tell us this in time? Zhao Honglong Dragon's fury couldn't restrain himself. I'm telling you, all of you know the rules here. If you dare to break the rules, then I must let you know the consequences of breaking the rules. I really didn't notice, Manager Zhao, Brother Long. I beg you to give me a chance. I really won't dare to do it again. Zhao Honglong gritted his teeth. Give you a chance? Wouldn't everyone think that they had a chance to make a mistake? Impossible. The technicians in Heavenly Palace 1 never had a chance to make a mistake. I'm asking you now. Tell me the truth. Do you have any involvement with the person yesterday? If so, you still have a chance to save yourself now. Tell me where this person might be. In the process of your conversation, did you get any useful information from him? This was Zhao Honglong's purpose. No, The girl cried and said, "I did ask, but he was always absent-minded and didn't give me any information." Zhao Honglong knew that no one would lie at this time, so he didn't say anything more. He just glanced at the bespectacled manager. "You should know what to do. Deal with it according to the rules." "I understand, Long. I won't be soft-hearted." The bespectacled man wasn't gentle at this time. If he didn't follow the rules and did the girl, then he would be the one to break the rules. The girl realized her situation and hid back in panic until she moved to the corner. "Manager, I beg you to give me a chance. I really will change. I really won't make a mistake again. I beg you, please don't kill me. I don't want a penny of commission in the future. Really, I don't want any more. Please give me a chance. The people in Heavenly Palace don't have a chance to make a mistake." You should have heard this sentence many times on the first day you came here. The bespectacled manager didn't talk nonsense at all. He directly asked people to drag the girl away and kill the chicken to warn the monkey, to let the other technicians know the consequences of making a mistake. At this time, the girl had no chance to regret. She really should reflect on herself when she walked on this wrong path. It was so that she could easily get money and material things. It was so that she could become a high-income person without paying. Indeed, this way of doing things would make them feel happy and satisfied at the beginning, but they would lose the most important thing. What did life need? Life needed to be meaningful. If they didn't have any meaning and became a walking corpse like them, it was really no different from a dead person. Regretting it now? Unfortunately, it was too late. No girl here would have a good ending in the end. In other words, the girls who walked on this line of work wouldn't have a good ending in the end. They were secretly dealt with by the boss, deceived and killed by the customers, and accidentally died because of an illness. There were many of them. Even if they were lucky enough to survive, so what? They were very likely to never have children in their lives and live in a kind of shadow for the rest of their lives. That kind of mental pain might make a person live in a shadow for the rest of their lives. If it was like this, it seemed that those who died were luckier. At least they didn't need to endure a lifetime of psychological torture. You only have one life, and you really can't take the wrong path. Once you set foot on some paths that you know are abyss, you can never turn back. The opportunity in life is different from the opportunity of anything. This thing only has one chance. Everyone is fair and only once. If you choose wrong, you can't blame anyone. Chapter 1951. Zhao Honglong mobilized everyone to start tracking Su Yun. Because Su Yun's car was recorded in their parking lot, their people had already started to look for the car all over Shenzhen. But Su Yun had already driven the car into a parking lot and didn't move, so it wasn't easy for them to find Su Yun's whereabouts. After all, no one in Tiangong No. 1 really had the ability to get the surveillance video from the traffic police brigade. They didn't have the connections, and they didn't have the identity and ability. The bosses had the identity and ability, and they also had the connections, but they didn't dare to tell the bosses about this. The refined bespectacled man and Zhao Honglong both had their own worries. This allowed Su Yun to continue to wander freely on the streets of Shenzhen, driving Yi Fala's car. Su Yun changed his wig and wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses. He looked like a southern boss with a bit of stinginess in his shrewdness. It was just that his body was slightly stronger. Fortunately, his muscles were covered by his clothes. Su Yun still swaggered on the streets of Shenzhen. Looking at the armed special police's combat-ready state, it was really interesting. Zhao Honglong's group of people who came out to track the whereabouts of Su Yun was also dumbfounded. They really couldn't believe that Shenzhen had become like this overnight. Were these people really prepared to catch Wen Xiao? Zhao Honglong was still very shocked. This Wen Xiao was really bad asterisks. The situation was so dangerous, and he still dared to come to the sauna center for fun. Then again, so many police officers couldn't catch him alone. This Wen Xiao really made Zhao Honglong feel some admiration in his heart. This courage was really extraordinary. If it were him, Zhao Honglong felt that it would be impossible for him to escape such a degree of search. Second boss still values this guy so much. Just look at the situation now. If the police don't catch him, then they definitely won't give up. Zhao Honglong thought. Probably they couldn't swagger around outside these few days. Who knew if the police would catch them by chance? Zhao Honglong didn't dare to let the police take him to the police station easily. People with his identity couldn't withstand the police's investigation. Once they found out, something would happen. Therefore, Zhao Honglong really didn't dare to shake it. After returning to Heavenly Palace 1 anxiously, Zhao Honglong was more or less in a daze. His mind was filled with Wen Zhao's matter. He still could not understand the fight with Wen Xiao yesterday, because Wen Xiao was still able to contend with Aku even after he had exhausted all his strength. This made Zhao Honglong puzzled, because if Wen Xiao still had the energy, it was possible for him to directly kill him at that time. But why didn't he do so? Could it be that although his mouth was tough and his fists were tough, he was still worried that he would cause trouble? With these doubts in mind, Zhao Honglong took a deep puff of his cigarette. Sitting in the office with him, the manager with glasses was also smoking. At this moment, the manager with glasses was very sad. Compared to Zhao Honglong's absent-mindedness, he was even more uneasy. Suddenly, the phone rang, startling both of them. When the manager with glasses saw that his phone showed the number of the big boss, his mind went completely blank. Did the big boss already know everything? Was he going to suffer all the punishment today? Big boss. When the man with glasses picked up the phone, he was very guilty. All services in the sauna center have been cancelled for the next few days. Yi Wanyong's words had always been very simple and clear. He directly instructed, the police are arresting people during this period of time. The operation may be more serious, and it will definitely affect us. Be careful, but don't panic. The man with glasses was stunned. It turned out that it was a reminder for him. Yes, big boss, I will be careful. As he spoke, his heart was pounding. Should he take the initiative to report what was happening now? After a struggle in his heart, he chose to remain silent. It was better not to say anything. Even if he took the initiative to report the trouble, the big boss was not the kind of person who would forgive his mistakes. The man with glasses knew that the big boss had always been concise. If there were no other instructions, he would hang up quickly. But this time, the big boss did not hang up directly. Instead, he fell into silence for more than 10 seconds. During this time, the man with glasses could only wait silently. He did not dare to hang up the boss's phone first. Next to the man with glasses, Zhao Honglong was also nervous. He had been listening to the voice on the phone, afraid that the big boss would suddenly fly into a rage. There is one more thing I need you to tell him. Yi Wenyang thought for a while and said, help me inform Along, tell him to get ready to leave the sauna center first. At 10 o'clock tonight, go directly to the dock where we receive the goods and have a look. Come to the group tomorrow morning and report the situation at the dock now. When Yi Wenyang finished speaking, Zhao Honglong was so excited that he almost jumped up. He really didn't expect that the big boss would trust him at this juncture. He knew too well what it meant for him to leave the sauna center. He could finally be free and get rid of this damn place. He could finally go to a bigger stage to show his ability. Zhao Honglong did not care about anything else. He grabbed the phone from the man with glasses and said, Big boss. You can rest assured. I will never let you down this time. I will complete all the tasks you give me. I will definitely do a good job. Yi Wenyang was slightly startled. He did not expect that the two of them would be together at this time. It should be known that Heavenly Palace 1 officially opened after 6 o'clock in the evening. During the time Zhao Honglong was in Heavenly Palace 1, he basically slept during the day. His activity time was at night. Since you are here, that's even better. You heard what I said, right? Remember to be careful at night. Yi Wanyang's voice was still calm. Along, I am giving you a chance. You should understand what I mean. Do a good job. Big boss, I promise. Zhao Honglong felt as if he had been reborn. He really needed this kind of encouragement. After Yi Wanyang hung up the phone, Zhao Honglong was so excited that he wanted to punch the man in glasses. The man in glasses didn't think much about it. He greeted Zhao Honglong's fist with his own fist, which almost fractured his bones. "Ah Long, don't forget your brother in the future." The man with glasses endured the pain in his fist. Zhao Honglong patted his chest. "Don't worry, Zhao Honglong, am not that kind of person. By the way, you still have to continue investigating the guest in room 8 yesterday. You must not relax your vigilance. You can rest assured that I will not talk nonsense to the big boss. As long as you need my help, inform me immediately. I will not hold back." With Zhao Honglong's words, the man with glasses was relieved. He was almost moved to tears. "Ah Long, you are really my good brother. You can rest assured that I will not take this matter lightly. I will solve it as soon as possible. Since there is nothing else, I will go and pack up first. You go and tell Mommy Chen to take all the technicians to a safe place. Treat it as a vacation. Don't make any mistakes in these few days." Zhao Honglong said, "I will be there to listen to the news. Once the big boss thinks that the limelight is over, I will call you immediately and inform you that everything is back to normal." "Good. You must be careful, brother," the man with glasses finally said with concern. Zhao Honglong went to pack up his things. The man with glasses was not idle. He immediately ordered his men to replace all the warm red light bulbs in the sauna center with white light sources. This should be an open secret in the industry. If the red light was not on, it was equivalent to not being open. Everything in Tiangong No. 1 was going on step by step. After the man with glasses went to inform Mommy Chen, the leader of the technicians, Mommy Chen quickly contacted a safe place outside that could provide a temporary place for her and her girls to stay for a short time. After everything was confirmed, all the technicians packed up their things and left in batches by taxis. In fact, this break was good news for all the technicians. At least they could calm themselves down a little. The incident of number 18 Ting Ting really stimulated a lot of people. Some of them calmly accepted the result in silence. Some of them were really shocked. They couldn't believe that a living person was gone just like that. No one knew how she was dealt with, but they knew in their hearts that number 18's end must be very miserable. This was because when several technicians were serving Zhao Honglong, who had drunk too much, they heard a very scary piece of news. That was, Jutsai Group was involved in the business of human organs, and they even smuggled them abroad after obtaining them. It was said that this was a super profitable business. As for where the organs were obtained, it was unknown. But these technicians who knew about this were very worried. They were worried that number 18's organs would also be. Oh, they really didn't dare to think about it. Chapter 1952. Everything happened in one day, and the whole situation changed drastically. When Xiao did think about going out for a walk, but looking out of the hotel room's glass, he quickly realized the seriousness of the matter when he saw the special police officers everywhere on the road. In this situation, when Xiao had no other choice. Other than hiding, he could only hide. Going out now? He wasn't that stupid. There were indeed some freeloaders in the police force, but there were also many highly professional people. There would definitely be people who could see through his disguise. Shenzhen had a population of tens of millions, but it was only the size of a palm. If the police really wanted to dig 3 feet into the ground to find a person, it wouldn't be too difficult. Moreover, if when Xiao was discovered hiding in a certain area, then the danger of him being exposed would be even greater. At this time, the police station had already held an emergency meeting. The contents of the meeting were very clear. They couldn't cast a net to catch fish. They had to cover the entire Shenzhen. They couldn't miss any corner. They had to use a carpet search to search. Qin Wan began to assign tasks. She personally led a group of people to search all the hotels in Shenzhen City. Zhang Guoping led people to search all the entertainment and leisure clubs in Shenzhen City. Zhang Yun was responsible for leading people to search all the office buildings in Shenzhen City and other places where people could hide. Then, the complex terrain of the shanty areas and some old residential areas where outsiders lived, as well as several large commercial areas in Shenzhen City, were handed over to the Special Police Detachment. There were many outsiders, and it was difficult to control the situation at the scene when something happened. It was also difficult to ensure the safety of the hostages at the scene. As for the armed police, they were still responsible for controlling all the traffic in and out of Shenzhen City. Everyone entering and leaving Shenzhen City had to be carefully checked. The hardest place to do this was the train station. There were many trains. It was faster than a car and more convenient than a plane. Naturally, it was the first choice of many people. Therefore, this place was heavily guarded by the armed police. People entering and leaving Shenzhen City were also very nervous. I've already searched all the 5-star hotels in the city. There's no need to waste energy on them. When Zhang Yun heard that Qin Wan'er was in charge of the hotel accommodation, he was a little unhappy. Hotels and leisure clubs were the most likely places to catch people, while office buildings and other places were the least likely places to hide. Qin Wan'er's intention seemed to be a bit too obvious. Finding Wen Zhao's trace would definitely be a great merit. She arranged a place that was least likely to be found by him, and a place that was most likely to be found by herself. It was obvious that she wanted to take the last bit of the merit into her own arms. Deputy Director Qin, even a piece of bone is not easy to chew, but you can't just throw the hardest and flakiest part to me, right? Zhang Yun said. Besides, I searched the hotel from the beginning. Everyone knows that the hotel is the most likely place to find clues. All right. There's no need for us to argue over this issue. Everyone is a team. Our bureau is responsible for looking for clues in the entire operation. No matter who finds it, it's the result of our joint efforts. Zhang Guoping hurriedly stepped forward and said, Don't hurt the harmony because of this small matter. It's not necessary, really not necessary. Zhang Yun said, Director Zhang, I really don't mean anything else. I just feel that Deputy Director Qin seems to have some other ideas. Qin Wan'er had been suppressing her emotions. She really didn't want to argue with Zheng Yun about these things. It was boring, really boring. Zheng Yun, you can investigate whatever place you want to investigate. That should be fine, right? You pick out the hardest bone and I'll chew on it. Qin Wan'er was very angry. She wanted to arrange the hotel for herself, because if she met Wen Xiao when she was investigating the hotel, she could find a way to fool him. But if Zhang Yun had objected at the beginning, she wouldn't have forced him. That would only affect everyone's mood. Little Qin, don't be angry. Calm down. I know that all of you are under a lot of pressure and want to catch people as soon as possible, but don't be anxious. Don't be impatient. After comforting Qin Wan'er, Zhang Guoping took Zhang Yun out of the room. Zhang Yun was confused, but because of Zhang Guoping's age, he couldn't say anything. He could only follow Zhang Guoping out of the room. As soon as they came out, Zhang Yun complained, Director Zhang, what do you think this is? She wants to take the credit, so she pushed us to those places that don't have any credit. She's too scheming, isn't she? Zhang Guoping glared at Zhang Yun and signaled him to be quiet. Then, he tried his best to calm Zhang Yun's emotions. Little Zheng, do you really think this is a credit? Yes, indeed. I also admit that this is definitely a great credit. If you can catch Wen Xiao, the city leaders will definitely look at you in a different light. The position of director will basically be in your bag. Zhang Yun nodded vigorously. He thought so too. This was a good opportunity. Whoever could catch Wen Xiao would definitely be promoted to the position of bureau chief. But have you ever thought about what you need to exchange for this credit? Zhang Guoping lowered his voice and said, You need to exchange it with your life. Zhang Yun was stunned by these words. After swallowing a mouthful of saliva, he also realized that Zhang Guoping was right. This credit had to be exchanged with one's life. To be able to obtain state secrets, how capable is this guy? Do you think he can get it? I've lived to this age, but I still can't believe that someone can have this ability. Zhang Guoping said, I'm really not joking. It's hard to say if you can catch this kind of person even if you risk your life. Think about it, he's already a trapped beast. If you find him, what will the consequences be? Even if he dies, he will definitely bite one of his companions to death. Hearing this, Zhang Yun's back broke out in cold sweat. This was indeed something he didn't dare to think about. What kind of person was Wan Xiao? Wan Xiao was an S-class wanted criminal. This kind of person was extremely vicious. After being caught, he would be sentenced to death. He would be shot by the country. If such a person was forced into a desperate situation, he would do anything. Su Yun swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He really didn't dare to think about it. If he confronted Wan Xiao, wouldn't Wan Xiao eat him alive? You need to think carefully. Is this an opportunity to make a contribution or a matter of life and death? Zhang Guoping said, "Isn't it a good thing to let you search for those impossible places? Little Zheng, you are still young. Your future is limitless. You really don't need to gamble with your life. There will be more opportunities in the future." Zhang Yun frowned. Zhang Guoping was right. He still had a lot of opportunities. It was really not worth it to lose his life because of this. Think about it carefully. Then you can fight for those things. Zhang Guoping said, "You are different from Qin Wan. She has to rely on herself to go up step by step, so she has to gamble with her life. But you are different. If she loses this time, the person who wins in the end is still you." Zhang Yun understood what Zhang Guoping meant. If Qin Wan lost, it meant that she would face death. If Qin Wan died, no one in the police station could compete with him. How could this not be a good thing? Letting Qin Wan go to the most dangerous places and do the most dangerous things, she couldn't always have a good life, right? She would always make mistakes, wouldn't she? What's more, she had to face a dangerous guy like Wan Xiao. The chances of her surviving were almost slim. Yes, this was a good idea. If Qin Wan did those things, she wouldn't win at all. Zhang Guoping, you are still thinking about it. Zheng Yun said, "Thank you very much. Otherwise, I would really be stupid to rob and do such meaningless things." Zhang Guoping motioned him to lower his voice. "Little Zheng, I have faith in you. You can't talk about this casually." "I understand, Zhang Guoping. Don't worry. I will remember your kindness to me in my heart." Zheng Yun said, "I definitely won't be stupid enough to say whatever you said to me. I'll definitely keep my mouth shut." "Don't worry. That's good." Zhang Guoping said, "You must think clearly. Don't do anything stupid. Just follow little Qin at any time. There is really no need to compete. You are not at the same level as her, understand? You don't need those superficial things." "Yes, I understand." Zheng Yun nodded. Chapter 1953. After Zhang Yun returned to the conference room, he no longer argued with Qin Wan. He said indifferently, "Okay, Deputy Director Qin, whatever you say is right. Whatever you say is right. From today on, all of our batons will be handed over to you. You are a master of solving cases. You have experience and ability. We will listen to you. No one can have any objection. If anyone has an objection, please apply to me first. I will fully support you." Zhang Yun's sudden change of attitude really made Qin Wan unable to accept it. She was very surprised. She did not know what Zhang Guoping said to Zheng Yun that could make Zheng Yun's attitude suddenly change 180 degrees. Incredible, really incredible. Qin Wan looked at Zhang Guoping with doubts. Zhang Guoping quietly gave Qin Wan a look, as if to tell Qin Wan not to worry. What Zheng Yun said was true. She could completely use her authority to assign tasks to anyone. No matter who it was, they could never treat her orders as nothing. And Zheng Yun would absolutely cooperate with all her decisions. From his tone, Qin Wan could tell that Zheng Yun was not being sarcastic. It sounded like he was just stating a fact. It was a very calm statement with a very good attitude. Little Qin, since Zhang Yun said so, you can rest assured. We will fully support your work. No matter when, as long as you arrange it, we will complete it with a 100% attitude. Zhang Guoping said, I will search every corner of all the entertainment venues in Shenzhen City. I will never let go of any suspicious person. Qin Wan was very grateful to Zhang Guoping. Deputy Director Zhang, thank you for your hard work. Once you find any abnormalities, remember not to act rashly. We must immediately contact the special police and the armed police for support. Wan Xiao is an S-class wanted criminal. He is different from ordinary people, so we must not act rashly. You can rest assured. I still cherish my old bones. Zhang Guoping smiled slightly. I am worried about you. You are young and impetuous. Don't be impulsive. Remember, impulsiveness is the devil. If you don't want this devil to control you to do things that you regret, then you have to control your emotions. Chief Zhang, we're no longer the hotheads who just arrived at the police station. We know very well what we should be calm about and what we need to restrain our impulses. Don't worry about that. Qin Wan promised, I will be careful. Zhang Yun smiled and said to Qin Wan, we may have had some conflicts before, but we are all serving the people. Today, I, Zhang Yun, promise you that I will complete the mission seriously and carefully. If I find any suspicious people, even if I have to risk my life, I will control the wanted criminals and bring them to the various departments for support. Although Zhang Yun spoke seriously, Qin Wan still did not want to communicate with him. That's right. It's all about serving the people. Then let's start moving. Be mentally prepared, don't let your legs go soft. Zhang Guoping said, this will be the most troublesome matter that the Shenzhen police force has ever encountered. We have a heavy responsibility. The winner takes it all. I don't want to be stripped of my uniform because of this matter before I retire. Chief Zhang, as long as our Deputy Bureau Chief Qin is here, it won't be easy for you to take off your uniform. Zhang Yun said, I believe that Deputy Bureau Chief Qin will lead us to catch the person. There is no criminal in the world who can stop Deputy Bureau Chief Qin. Qin Wan did not like to listen to these false compliments. Whether Zhang Yun really wanted to reconcile with her or not, she did not want to listen to these words. Time waits for no one. The city leader gave us 10 days. We will start moving now. Let's go. This was the normal Qin Wan. She was swift and decisive. She never did things sloppily. She did what she wanted to do. She was absolutely not vague. Qin Wan thought it through. She realized that she should not go on like this. If she continued to be like this, someone would definitely notice that something was wrong. Instead, it was better to show her usual self. Because Qin Wan believed that Wen Xiao was not an idiot. Since he knew that she was an undercover of the police who did not know the truth, he should disguise himself better. It was still a problem whether she could find him. Even if she could find him, she would think of a way. There was always a way out. It was better than her being like this now. She had not done anything, but she had already lost in a trance. It was because Qin Wan had thought it through that she gave all these orders without any scruples. She knew that she still had a lot of initiative. She could carefully search any place. She could only go easy on Shinkai Hotel. Life depended on acting skills. Many times, people's honesty and straightforwardness were useless and meaningless. On the contrary, disguises and cover-ups would become the best weapons. Seeing Qin Wan hurriedly leave with the people, Zhang Yun's heart was very comfortable. He breathed a sigh of relief. Go, Qin Wan, use your hot blood to fight for your credit. I will not fight for it. It is meaningless. There was a saying that went, where there is life, there is hope. Zhang Yun had a green mountain behind him. What was he afraid of? Did he really care about such a merit? He really did not care. This merit was not even as useful as a good word from a leader. Qin Wan was willing to risk her life. That was Qin Wan-er's business. It had nothing to do with him. He would not risk his life for such a promotion opportunity. If it did not work, he would lose his life. But he could fight in a way that was not dangerous. The result would be the same. Little Zheng, let's get ready to go. Even if it is just for show, we have to make it real. Zhang Guoping said, you can't miss a single office building. Even if it is a pit in the bathroom, you have to make sure that no one can hide. Zhang Guoping, don't worry. I will definitely search every corner. Zheng Yun said, you too. You must not miss a single place. Zhang Guoping smiled slightly and whispered, I really can't investigate too carefully. If I am too careful, it is easy to get into trouble. These entertainment places, which one of them does not have a trace of contact with the leaders? We are just small policemen. This kind of thing really can't offend people too much. Zhang Guoping, you are so thoughtful. It seems that the one you are in charge of is the most difficult. I really admire you more and more. Zheng Yun really did not dare to believe that Zhang Guoping actually had so many ideas. But this was also very strange. Such a person with such ideas and such a good scheming person, how could he not be promoted in the end? Perhaps the current society was like this. No one dared to guarantee anything. No one dared to say that they would be able to sit firmly in a position and would never fall down. Although Zhang Guoping was very proficient in the ways of the career, his opponent at that time might have been stronger than him. So, in the end, he did not succeed. In a person's life, there were many times when it depended on luck. It really did not depend on strength or background. A person's success was really due to many aspects. And luck was definitely an indispensable factor. Zhang Yun felt that this matter was an opportunity for him. As long as luck was on his side, he would be able to obtain the final victory. Of course, his luck had nothing to do with him. His luck was that Qin Wan would be unlucky. As long as Qin Wan met the abnormal S-level Wen Xiao, then it would bode ill rather than well. This was Zheng Yun's opportunity. Perhaps he was thinking too much and too far. Zheng Yun could not help but laugh out loud. After Zhang Guoping, who was leading the team, heard the sound, he also looked back. He thought to himself, this kind of impetuous person could not make any contributions at all as a policeman. As long as this kind of person did not cause trouble, it would be the best help to the police station. After Qin Wan and Zhang Guoping left with their own teams, Zhang Yun also quickly left with his people. He said that he was going to check the office building. In fact, he was going to wander around and say some shocking things. He told people not to drive out alone at night. This was very likely to be targeted by Wen Xiao. Even Zhang Yun himself felt like a nurse in a welfare house. He said the same things to everyone he saw, just to have a better angle to take pictures of him doing welfare. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.